have nearly 2,500 five-star Google reviews. Their service is off the charts. Call now to start the conversation. 919-381-1760, loanpronto.com. 919-381-1760. Get debt relief now. Loanpronto.com. Equal housing lender. NMLS 166-171 on approved credit. NMLSconsumeraccess.org.
Hi, Zoe Saldana. Welcome to T-Mobile. Here's your new iPhone 16 Pro on us.
Thanks. And here's my old phone to trade in.
You don't need a trade-in. When you switch to T-Mobile, we'll give you a new iPhone 16 Pro. Plus, we'll help you pay off your old phone up to $800, and you still get to keep it.
There's always a trade-in.
Not right now at T-Mobile.
I feel like I have to give you something in return for karma.
That's okay.
I don't really have much in my purse. Oh, let's see. Hand sanitizer. It's lavender.
I'm good. Seriously.
Let me check this pocket. Oh, mints?
Really, I'm fine.
Oh, I have raisins. I'm a mom. Wait 1 sec. I've got cupcakes in the car.
It's our best iPhone offer ever. Switch to T-Mobile. Get a new iPhone 16 Pro with Apple Intelligence on us. No trade-in needed. We'll even pay off your phone up to $800.
With 24 monthly bill credits, new line $100 plus a month on experience beyond finance agreement $999.99 and qualifying forwarded. For well qualified plus tax and $10 connection charge. Payoff via virtual prepaid card. Allow 15 days. Credits end and balance due if you pay off early or cancel. See T-Mobile.com.
Earth Justice is a national legal nonprofit fighting to protect people's health, to preserve magnificent places and wildlife, and to combat climate change. Visit us at earthjustice.org. Earth Justice. Because the Earth needs a good lawyer.
Progressive knows when you're on your boat, you're already on vacation. And Vacation You forgets all your worries. Vacation You doesn't even keep track of time and knows that time is a meaningless construct designed to control us, man. But Regular You knows you don't want to be too far out in the water after the sun goes down because Vacation You doesn't know how to navigate in the dark yet. Vacation You and Regular You really need to get on the same page. So bundle your boat with your home or auto policy and earn an automatic discount from Progressive. And spend the savings on the both of you. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and other insurers. Not available in all states or situations.
This hour of the Triangle Sports Leader is powered by Ritchie Law Firm, injury lawyers. Ritchie Law is on top of it.
That one back, that one going, gone!
Go to ritchielaw.com.
That's ritchielaw.com.
Broadcasting live from the Lenovo Studios. WCMC HD1 Holly Springs. 99.9 The Fan. The Triangle Sports Leader.
I'm meteorologist Grant Skinner in the WRAL Severe Weather Center. Watch for more showers and thunderstorms by this evening. Damaging wind gusts and flash flooding are possible. Then by tonight, some storms earlier in the night, but then lows by Friday morning in the low 70s. More storms on Friday.
Weather update brought to you by Newcomb & Company, where your comfort is their business. Visit newcombandcompany.com. 3 o'clock check of your money. Dow Jones is up 242 points at 44,701.
That's right. The Drive with Tim Donnelly here on 99.9 The Fan. Once again, Graham Hill producing the show for us. Dennis still on vacation. And it's okay. I'm going to let everybody know right now. It's okay to be optimistic this time of year. It's okay to get excited. Matter of fact, it's kind of what this time of year is about.
Fanny, this is the point where you should be predicting your favorite college or sports team to have an undefeated season.
I don't know if undefeated. But my point is, at this point for the NHL, we just saw free agency. At this point for the NFL, with training camp coming up, free agency draft in the rearview mirror, college teams, transfer portal, rearview mirror. It's okay if you like what your team did. It's okay. And this is a little bit of foreshadowing because when we hit the big 3 at 3, this is going to have to do with it. But also, it's okay to want to win for yourself. Win Your Weight in Meat is back starting today I keep reading the copy from the other day. Starting on Monday, this past Monday, so definitely going on right now, you can text BEEF, B-E-E-F, to 919-860-5326 for your chance at becoming one of our 10 finalists to win your weight and meat. Every weekday, today, the rest of this week, all of next week, we will call one lucky texter live on air around 4 o'clock, and all you have to do is pick up your phone, tell us your weight, and you're in the running. Then on Monday, July 21st, one of our 10 finalists will be randomly selected to win their weight and meat. So we are doing a drawing where we will register a finalist about an hour from now. If you haven't done so already, text BEEF, B-E-E-F, to 919-860-5326, and you might become one of our finalists.
And then be by your phone.
And be by your phone at 4 o'clock.
Turn that ringer on, all right? You want to hear my sweet voice when I call you to qualify for Win Your Weight and Meat.
And then that's a excellent piece of advice. Keep your phone on at 4. Just know where it is and have it on loud. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Now that you know how to win your weight and meat, brought to you by the NC Beef Council. Beef, it's what's for dinner. We can get into the big 3 at 3. And with that little bit of foreshadowing that we did, we'll start with number 1.
Number 1.
It is okay to be excited. I'm talking to the Carolina Panther fans specifically now, but I'm passing it along to a few other fan bases as well. Panthers fans are exceptionally, almost excited about the Carolina Panthers this year. So the Athletic put out a fan survey. Send it to all the fans of the different teams with questions like, how do you feel about the future of the franchise under the head coach? With things like, how excited are you for your quarterback? And we have these specific questions that we'll get to throughout the show.
Joe Person specifically.
Joe Person,
give him credit.
Of the Athletic.
There's a lot of numbers to crunch up.
A lot of totaling, a lot of math, which I'm not good at. My observation of the whole thing, the whole survey put on by the Athletic and Joe Person, is we're all doing the menu thing. You know, when you're out to dinner with somebody, you look at the menu and you see the highest priced item and you go, okay, definitely not getting that because that might make me look like a ridiculous person, right? Even if you're paying, you're just like, I not the highest paid thing on the menu. So, for example, after Dave Canales' first season, how do you feel about the future of the franchise? The options were very optimistic, somewhat optimistic, not optimistic at all, and to be determined. 55%, somewhat optimistic. Not the top, just one below. Next up, on a scale of 1 to 5, with 5 being most confident, how confident are you that Bryce Young is the Panthers' QB of the future? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, the options. 5, most optimistic. Almost 50%, 48%, 4. Not the top, just one below. And for so many of the questions, that's where the Panther fans settle in. Not the top, just one below.
I mean, I don't know if the fan base is ready to just give the stamp of approval for Bryce Young as the franchise quarterback, but I feel like they'll be ready to give their answer after this season with all the offensive toys that he has around him, right? Like we always say, and he doesn't have just Buzz Lightyear anymore. AK, he doesn't have just Adam Thielen. All right, He has the whole play set at his disposal.
It's okay to say, yeah, it's not just Adam Thielen. Now he has Tedero McMillan, and I'm excited for him. Would I say 5? Probably not. I don't even know if I would say 4 on that question. But it is, I think, obvious that everybody is tampering down just a little bit. I want to say 5, but that could be ridiculous. We're the Panthers. 4. I want to say I'm very optimistic, but that would be ridiculous. We're the Panthers. I'll go somewhat optimistic. You're just talking yourself down a little bit. It's okay to be excited. It is A-okay to be excited. Nobody is going to come back. Unlike Graham and I, right? Because there's Twitter accounts like Old Takes Exposed. There's listeners out there bookmarking our takes. Nobody is going to chase down an anonymous fan survey and say, ha, you specifically were wrong. Pick with your heart, right? The Panthers gave J.C. Horn a new contract in March for 4 years worth $100 million. Do you like it? Don't like it? Have to wait and see. Well, the majority have to wait and see. Not the top, just one below. It's kind of a theme there for Panther fans. Nobody's letting themselves get carried away. Be a fanatic. That's what fan stands for. That's number 1 in the Big 3 at 3. Number 2. We received the invitees, the list of players that will be joining their head coaches at ACC Football Media Days. Now, from a media perspective, you wish they just picked the best sound bites, right? If we're going to be there interviewing players, we want the ones that are going to give us I guarantee we win the ACC. But barring that, I do think there's a little bit we can learn here. Coaches do think about who they're bringing, okay? You may think it's, that's nitpicking or overanalyzing. Trust me, coaches are overanalyzers. So when you see somebody bring a quarterback, that is as good as any indication that quarterback is going to be the starter if there's a competition, right? If you see them bring or not bring somebody who is a star, that could indicate maybe a doghouse, right? Maybe they've done something that's a little not super exciting to the coach. So when you see something like, I don't know, we'll use North Carolina as an example. They're bringing Gio Lopez, the incoming transfer quarterback. There hasn't been any official announcement, although there is a reported, couple $1 million going his way that explains why he might be the starter. But him being there representing the team probably tells you either Max Johnson won't be ready, Bryce Baker, their stud young guy, isn't making as strong a push for the starting lineup as some might indicate. That tells me Gio Lopez is entrenched.
A change of what we saw last year when it was both Max Johnson and Jacoby Chris, or was it Jacoby Chris or Connor Harrell that came with him?
I believe it was Max Johnson and Connor Harrell.
That's okay. Those were the two.
And we spoke with Connor Harrell there, and we were asking questions as if there's a good chance he was going to start. Ended up not starting. Max Johnson did until he got hurt in that game 1. So there's a lot of that going on. Also, again, just because I'm focusing on quarterbacks during the Big 3, C.J. Bailey for NC State. He's there. Now, we knew he was the starter, right, entrenched. But also a sophomore being picked is a sign of maturity, right? Coaches trust him. Big step for C.J. Bailey. I've talked about how excited I would be if I were Bailey because he gets an entire offseason as the guy. Like this whole offseason. A lot of starters don't get that because they got to compete for it throughout the offseason. Everybody knew it was his program. He gets to be the dude, and that continues at ACC Media Day. Again, we'll dive further into that as the show goes on. And then finally, number 3. Duke, one and done, and number 1 overall pick, Cooper Flagg, is making his Summer League NBA debut tonight for the Dallas Mavericks against who else but Bronny James Jr. and the Los Angeles Lakers. That's how it's being presented, at least, right? It's not like they're going to guard each other, probably. But hey, they're the 2 most famous players in the game. I know there is an instinct of everybody to go, relax, it's a summer league game. It means nothing. I agree with you to an extent. I'm also not of the belief, and it's kind of crazy to expect it, that you can be the everything player of the year in college. You can be statistically one of the best freshmen in the history of college basketball. You could be 17 years old during part of that college basketball season because you reclassified up. You could be the number 1 overall pick. You can sign gargantuan NIL deals. You can be getting paid $60 million on your first contract in the NBA and then turn around and expect not a ton of scrutiny on your NBA Summer League debut. It comes with the territory. So yes, Cooper Flagg is going to go out there and play, and if he goes 1 for 15 and he turns the ball over 5 times, does that mean he is going to be a bust? Absolutely not. Does that mean the panic button should be smashed? Absolutely not. Does it mean it will be highly scrutinized? Yes. Why? Because he's wildly famous, wildly highly compensated, he's being given every resource, and he's debuting for the first time in the jersey of an NBA team.
Anything better than 1 in 15 obviously is good for the stat line, but it just feels like if he scores 15 or more points, big overachievement. Also, I can't wait to see the Sports Center highlight tonight of him doing a reverse dunk, and then LeBron James goes crazy on the sidelines.
Well, the other thing I'll point out is we've followed very, very closely Cooper Flagg, at least I have for now like a year and a half, right? Going back to the end of his high school career by the time we knew he was coming to Duke, and then the entire time he was at Duke because it was a local story. He does not feel pressured in big moments. And what I mean by that is certain star players, when they know all the eyes are on them, are going to go out and score 30. And they don't care if it takes 32 shots because they know everybody's there to see them. I wouldn't be surprised if Cooper Flagg walks away with 12 points on 7 shots, like not forcing it at all, a bunch of assists, some rebounds, a steal or two, and everybody feels underwhelmed, but I'm going, that's what he does, right? If you wanted just a flat-out score, there were other guys to get, right? If you wanted I don't know, like a Joe Johnson, right? Somebody that's just going to be ISO on the wing, there were other guys to get. He makes the right basketball play most of the time. So if he does that, nobody should be disappointed. But even if he has a rough day, get used to it. If Cooper Flagg has a rough day from now until the end of his career, and it doesn't really matter what opportunity, there will be critics and boo birds coming from all over the place. Might as well get used to it now. Don't try to avoid it. Don't try to hide it. It's just going to happen. That's the Big 3 at 3. This is The Drive with Tim Donnelly on 99.9 The Fan. Yesterday, Will Wade, head coach of NC State basketball, spoke to the media. We played some audio for you. I think we missed something pretty important. So we'll get to that point coming up next.
Hey, daydreamer. Did we catch you thinking about your dreams? With Wells Fargo Premier, a team can help you plan for them. So let's imagine your biggest dream. Not the easy one, the one behind it. The one you work towards every day and every night. Can you see it? Then we can help you plan for it. Ready to start planning for your dreams? You can at wellsfargo.com/getpremier.
If Heineken Silver was a 60-second radio ad, it'd tell you all the stuff you need to know in only 30 seconds to keep things light and refreshing. Seriously, time me. Heineken Silver, a world-class light beer that's surprisingly crisp and refreshing. Made with only premium quality ingredients and just 2.9 grams of carbs and 95 calories. All without compromising on taste. Heineken Silver. Order now at Heineken.com/silver. Must be 21 and older to purchase. Enjoy Heineken responsibly. Whew. 30 seconds. That's it. Done. Peace.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, let's talk ED because millions of men experience it. But not everyone can access or afford treatments like Viagra. Hims can help. Through Hims.com, you can access a full range of treatment options for ED through a 100% online process. To start your free online visit and save up to 95%, go to Hims.com/joy. HIMS.com/JOY.
Black isn't just a color. It's the presence of infinite possibilities. It's the moment before everything changes. An invitation to something unforgettable.
I won.
Win up to $4 million with Carolina Black Premier from the North Carolina Education Lottery. Must be 18 to play. Approximate overall odds of winning are 1 in 4.18. Problem gambling helpline 877-718-5543.
Damn, you spent a month concerned about everything we were doing in the transfer portal and recruiting. He didn't even show up. That's some shit.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. That's how Will Wade opened his presser yesterday. Head coach NC State men's basketball sat down and immediately called out a reporter that had been critical of their transfer portal recruiting. He gave us a ton of awesome clips, as Will Wade often does. Gave us the sound bites, right? In the media, you're like, appreciate it. Coach, but I do think, at least this show didn't, and I didn't see many talking about it, didn't talk enough about the basketball points he snuck into the press conference. You know, underneath the cover of these unusual coach speak clips that he gives us so often, he snuck in something that I think is actually going to end up being a big point. Well, I think it's going to be something that impacts the basketball, the win-loss total, a lot more than, his personality, because there's I like to name my theory. Some people get annoyed by it, but I can't help it. It's the children's sports movie theory, right? You're thinking like Mighty Ducks, right? We get attached to these narratives, right? We get attached to the storylines, but usually when a team goes on a hot streak, when a team goes on a really, really good run, there's a actual like X's and O's or schematic reason why. The reason why I call it, Mighty Ducks is because Gordon Bombay gives a great speech played by Emilio Estevez, and the team goes on a run from worst to first. But what no one ever acknowledges is they because of the way the district lines were drawn, they took the best player from the best team and put him on Gordon Bombay's team, right? They went and took Brad Banks, put him on the worst team. And in 9-year-old hockey, or however old they were, if you take the best player in the league, right, the one future pro in the league, put him on the worst team, yeah, they'll probably be the best team. Maybe it wasn't all about the coming together speeches from the washed-up old hockey player, and maybe it was about just getting the best player. Right, so we're going to lock on. Heck, I'll even use NC State's run to the Final Four under Kevin Keatts. How did they do it? Oh, my goodness. Well, they had one of the most unusual players in college basketball in DJ Burns. Now, in the ACC, right, when you're facing conference teams that study you and know you really well, guess what? They can figure out how to play DJ Burns. But when you're in an NCAA tournament, right, which they squeaked into after they won the ACC tournament, teams don't have a long time to figure it out, right? They might have 48 hours to scout you. Now he's so unusual, it's really difficult to make it happen. Look at that. You get an unusually unique, good basketball player, you go on a run. Maybe it wasn't just the ice cream and the why not us. So Will Wade speaking to the media, and the storyline we grab onto is this brash new coach that isn't afraid to ruffle feathers, and he's not afraid of the teams across the triangle, and he's grabbing transfers from another team in the triangle, and he's calling out reporters. But then he slides in there, we would be willing to accept another big man or two if the right guy comes up, and I'm going, that might be the thing that matters more. That might be the thing that's the basketball reason you do or don't reach your goals this year, regardless of the narratives and the storylines. And if you want the actual audio, Will Wade would like to add another big or two if he can find the right guys.
Look, we're still looking. We'd like to add another big or two if we can find the right guys. At this point, you need a little bit of luck, whether it's a foreign guy or some other things that happen. But we have our antennas up and are looking. So. But I feel solid about what we've done. We've got a solid team. I think with another piece or two, it could be a really, really good team. But we'll see what happens between now and August 17th.
There's a reason why they're still looking for a big. It's because I think they need it. I'm with them. I think they need a big man or two. And the ironic part of it all is he doesn't have to look far to learn that lesson, right? Smart person learns from their own mistakes. Wise person learns from the mistakes of others. They don't have to look far. UNC last year, how many times did we gather after a tough loss for UNC and say, just felt like they didn't have the big guy, looked like they really missed Armando Bacot, even though they had 6'10", 6'11", right? Withers, Washington. They were guys that gravitated towards the perimeter. They didn't have that post rebounding, defending 6'11", 7-footer, and that becomes difficult to battle with teams that have that. So I'm looking at NC State's roster this year, and it's not exactly the same as UNC, don't get me wrong. But they also are kind of missing the same thing UNC was missing last year. And they even have this same undersized post that UNC had last year that's going to try to overcome it. Right now, the big men, the biggest guys, just looking at height on NC State's roster, are Jerry Deng. He's 6'9". His nickname, according to social media videos put out by the team, is Clip for his shooting ability. Right? He shoots from deep. They also have Zamika Wilkins, a 6'8" incoming freshman. Now, I don't know about you. And by the way, he is like a post player, right? He's wider bodied, right? He can battle down low, but you find me a coach that wants to depend on a freshman big as their main dude down there as far as physicality goes, and I will be very surprised. I don't think many coaches like that exist. Then they have Colt Langdon, who's 6'7". You go to his announcement, right, the GoPack.com article about when he committed out of the transfer portal to NC State. One of the first things mentioned, he made 182 three-pointers in a 3-year prep basketball career. Shooter. Right? He doesn't want to be by the basket. He wants to be out there shooting. And then there's Van Allen Lubin, 6'8". That's it. They had Paul Mbaya committed. He was a 6'11", strong, big dude that had played multiple years at a very high level over in a European pro league. He decommits, and he's going to another blue blood. So let's look at it, right? UNC learned last year. Ven-Allen Lubin, 6'8", is very good. I'm a big fan. Watching him in the ACC tournament, I don't know how you couldn't be a big fan of his. But sometimes he needs a bigger running mate to guard a true post or to rebound against a true post or to just have a little bit of help because he is 6'8". And Will Wade knows that too because, again, he snuck in some basketball into that press conference yesterday. Here is Will Wade on Ven-Allen Lubin being reliable and consistent but still needing help.
It's been great. He's very, very consistent. He's reliable. He's consistent. He's everything we thought he would be. His three-point shot's getting better. I think he'll revert back to how he was when he played for Coach Stackhouse at Vanderbilt, where he had his best year statistically, shooting it from three. But we got to give him a little more help down there. I mean, look, he's done a great job. He's been a warrior for us. But we got to get him a little more help.
Got to get him a little more help. Got to get him a little more help. I agree. Now, the roster isn't officially done. Obviously, they can add some more. But a rough count came up with, outside of the players I mentioned, Dang, who's 6'9", Lubin, who's 6'8", Wilkins, who's 6'8", and Langdon, who's 6'7". They then have 9 guys between 6'2" and 6'6".
And I think they also still have one more scholarship availability to offer for the roster.
They definitely can add. Sometimes you need that big guy in a league like the ACC. Sometimes you do. And I think they could be like if Darion Williams, Matt Abel, some of these guys they added, right? A true star out of the transfer portal in Williams, a true star out of high school and 5-star Abel. Like they brought in some really good dudes. A leader in Holloman from Michigan State. Like I could go on and praise so many of their additions this offseason. And there's a bunch of them. They turned over the roster pretty good. But it still feels like they're missing something. It still feels like if you go up against a team that has a legit big dude, and the ACC will find a few of them. They always do. That's going to be the circle on the depth chart. Or on the scouting report. This is how we beat them. Just like last year, right? R.J. Davis and all these and Seth Trimble and Ian Jackson and Drake Powell. I'm talking UNC last year. They had a lot of talent on that roster too. 5 stars, big additions, returning ACC Player of the Year, but they didn't have that back to the basket center. They didn't have that person, who's it's always awkward to describe at the combine because they're trying to say he's got a heavy hindquarters. He's got a wide rump, right? They're always trying to just say that he squats a lot, right? A big dude. I don't see that on NC State yet. And I'm not saying, by the way, you don't have to have a star. It'd be nice if you had a star big, but sometimes you just need a guy that's, big. He's got 5 fouls and he's got some strength and he knows how to use it. There's a lot of teams that have gotten by with those types of players. A lot of those players made long NBA careers out of just being end of the bench. Hey, if you need somebody to guard a center, I'm here. And if you need me to set screens and catch a pass and give it right back to the guy so he can get his dribble back, I can do that. But I do think they need a big, and I think that is not something that should be ignored. And I don't think he is, right? I think there was some reasons to why he snuck that in. And I'm not saying he snuck it in intentionally, like he was trying to deceive us. I'm just saying it came out in the press conference and kind of swept under the radar because there were so many other flashier clips that he gave us in that presser. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Let's make sure this doesn't sneak under the radar. Tim Donnelly here for Miller Lending. You may hear, this is an analogy I like to use for those of you looking for mortgage rates. Right? You're going to shop around. Matter of fact, Miller Lending will do that for you, by the way. Being a broker, they can check out 30 different lenders out there and find the best rate for you. rather than, your cousin or your neighbor down the street saying, "Hey, I'm a lender, let me do your mortgage." Right? That's just one option. You want to shop around, make sure you're getting the lowest rate. Miller will do that. And you may even hear somebody else say, "We'll find you a lower rate than Miller." Well, guess what? Miller does a no closing cost loan. So remember that. Bake that into your shopping around. Bake that into your calculations. No closing costs. Zero means zero. No fees, no surcharges at closing. So it's kind of like those airlines, right? We have the lowest ticket around. We'll get you from A to B for $100. Lowest ticket around. Perfect. Let's book. I'd like to bring a bag. Are you checking it? Well, that's going to be $75. No, I'll carry it on. Well, that's going to be $100. Okay. You're going to want water on the plane? Maybe that's $25. Are you okay with a layover in Detroit? No. All right, well, that's another $100. And by the time it all adds up, you're spending way more because you didn't calculate the costs and the fees. It's simple with Miller Lending. No costs, no fees. Zero means zero. It's that simple. The number to call, also simple. Here it is for you. 919-447-3377. That's 919-447-3377. Or you can visit them online at millerlending.com. Once again, that is millerlending.com. Miller Lending is an equal housing lender, NMLS number 250-2146. The Dean's List is coming up next. Don't go anywhere.
Westwood One Sports presents this special tennis update. The Wimbledon women's semifinals. A tight match that produced an upset was followed by a blowout match and an easy win for the favorite. Iga Świątek, she cruised past Belinda Bencic 6-2, 6-love. She looked awfully good on grass, her weakest surface.
Honestly, I never even dreamt that it's going to be possible for me to play in the final. So I'm just, super excited and just proud of myself. And I don't know, tennis keeps surprising me.
Świątek hasn't had a great year. That's why she's seeded only 8th, but 1 through 7 are gone. The only one left was top seed Aryna Sabalenka. She almost lost in the quarterfinals. She did lose in the semis, upset by American Amanda Anisimova, 6-4, 4-6, 6-4. Anisimova, an unlikely finalist a year ago, she tried to qualify to get into the Wimbledon field. Didn't make it. Men's semis tomorrow. John Stashower, Westwood One Sports.
At Fisher Investments, we may seem like other money managers, but we're different.
Are you really that different than the rest of us?
We are. As a fiduciary, we always focus on what's best for our clients.
What services do you offer besides investing?
We have a team of specialists in financial planning, estate planning, and more.
Your clients rely on you for all that?
Yes, we ensure clients receive unparalleled service at every step of the relationship.
Okay, but you still sell commission-based products, right?
No, because we believe that's a conflict of interest. We prioritize service over sales goals.
So, then how do your fees work?
We have a simple and transparent fee that's a percentage of our clients' portfolios. So we do better when our clients do better.
Wow, we're more different than I thought.
At Fisher Investments, we're clearly different. Learn more at FisherInvestments.com.
Investing in securities involves the risk of loss.
Hey, this is Luke with Newcomb & Company. We're a residential, commercial, plumbing, HVAC company who's been serving the community for over 70 years. Honesty is the biggest policy around here. We take pride in everything we do, anything we touch. We're not one of those companies that come in, throw it in, and then you can't get a hold of them again. We're there with you, hand in hand. Here at Newcomb & Company, what stands apart from other companies is we actually do more than just AC and heat pumps. We do boilers, geothermals, furnaces, radiant floor, anything that is odds and ends that nobody else can touch is what we thrive on. At Newcomb & Company, we do same-day service. That's also another thing that helps us stand apart from other places is we do same-day service because we have enough professionals to get out to these houses to solve what the problems are. And we're on 24/7 on emergency basis, weekends, nights, holidays, you name it, we're there.
Newcomb & Company, your independent terrain dealer. Call 919-862-3000 or visit newcombandcompany.com. Newcomb & Company, your comfort is our business.
Bailey, shotgun, snap left hashes, QB keeper, dives forward, touchdown. Bailey is third of the night.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Little CJ Bailey highlight coming out of the break. Might be a hint as to someone that might be in our Dean's List. Yeah, little foreshadowing. Second foreshadowing of the day here on The Drive with Tim Donnelly on 99.9 The Fan. It is the first time we'll do the Dean's List today. Let's fire it up. Class is in session for the Dean's List, where we highlight those deserve a little extra praise, few extra accolades in the college sports world. And I'm going to get it started with the Triangle quarterbacks. More specifically, the Triangle starting quarterbacks. Gio Lopez for UNC, CJ Bailey, who you just heard the highlight for NC State, and Darian Mensah for Duke, incoming transfer there as well. They are all repping their team at ACC Media Days. Right, the ACC Media Days coming up in a couple weeks. The players that will be joining their coach at the event, talking to the media. Hopefully, we will be talking to a bunch of them. We will be there for the Media Days, the kickoff. I don't want to sound the alarm for other teams. If your quarterback, your starting quarterback, is not a true freshman, and he isn't chosen to go to the ACC Media Day or to your conference's kickoff, I think you either the coach is underestimating how important it is that your quarterback be the face and the mouthpiece of your organization, or you don't know who your quarterback is yet, and that is a whole other can of worms that needs to be addressed. So as we set our expectations for these teams, as we set our expectations for who might surprise in the ACC, I would start with the teams that have an established dude at quarterback that they are getting behind as a team. And one way to see if they're doing that is if they're at the conference kickoff, because it probably is overstated or overhyped, but really not, because I don't know. Like, it's really important. Every quarterback's a little different, and receivers are going to have to know, hey, do you want this route a speed cut or a hard cut? Hey, do you want me to work back to the ball or not? Hey, do you want me to stem out on this or not? How do you want me to run this route? Where are you going to put it? How do you throw it? All of these things come together, and if there's two quarterbacks, you don't know who to ask. You need one guy with command saying, this is how I want this play run. And the example I always use is this. I played college football at the University of Delaware. It's not the ACC, but it's not, I don't know, Division III. And I was a backup quarterback for a few years before I got my chance to start. And there was a day. It wasn't even a game. It was a day in practice where our starter got the day off, right? He had, I think, an ankle injury, so he was in a boot. He was watching, which meant, right, I was a young quarterback. I got to run the practice. Coach, watch what I do with the first team. Give me all these reps. Our starting center snapped it at my feet, snapped it over my head, snapped it left. This is a guy that did not miss in games. We're in the shotgun. I'm calling our little red 5, said hut, or I'm doing the whole thing, and he's snapping it all over the place. And I'm frustrated as all get out, right? How are they going to see my golden arm? How are they going to see what I can do if I'm chasing and diving on fumbles the whole time? And guess what it ended up being? I don't even know how we figured this out. My cadence was like almost imperceptibly different. Right? His was red 5, said hut, and mine was red 5, said hut. Like, it was that different. And for whatever reason, that little hesitation was messing up the center. So for then, like a week, we called it choir practice. We had all the quarterbacks get together, and we just said the cadence in unison over and over and over again. And I never had a problem with the starting center again.
So little things like that you see the mental errors come out in actual football games with the false starts or delay of games, stuff like that.
So think about trying to get ready for two quarterbacks. Whose cadence are you locking into your subconscious so much that if it changes, you're off kilter?
Down, say hut. Down, say hut. Versus down, say hut.
It's which one are you working on? So the fact that all three schools from the Triangle have their quarterback there, and it's not that simple, but you know whose cadence you're locking into. You know who's telling the receivers how to run their route. So I think it's a big deal. Congratulations to all three.
And also, most of the time, you want a player on your roster that's going to kind of draw the eyeballs, right, of the media that's in the room. Similar to ACC tip-off, I know you always said whenever DJ Burns would walk into the room, everybody would just gravitate to him, obviously because of his size and structure, but he just has that personality. You want somebody like that on your team that You want the media to be like, oh, we know Carolina's in the room. We know Duke's in the room. We know NC State's in the building because of your star player.
And matter of fact, it's happened now twice at ACC Media Day for football. One of the questions we'll ask, we'll go there, we'll do the whole thing. Dennis and I will be there. I believe Adam and Victoria likely will be there as well. We'll interview a bunch of players, bunch of coaches. One of our recaps I always ask is who had the magnetic entrance. Right? When they walked in, everybody's head immediately went woom, like a bride walking into the wedding, right? Woom. Just everybody turns. We're coming up on 2 years of our show, by the way. The first time I went to ACC Media Day as a representative of 99.9, it was Riley Leonard.
Yep.
Riley Leonard walked in. He had some goofy socks on. This is pre-breakout Riley Leonard, right? He was going into Duke, and he was a starter for Duke. When he walked in, for whatever reason, everybody went, ooh, whoa, that guy's got some presence. A couple weeks later, we're watching him upset Clemson, and they're storming the field.
Then later that season, playing in a College Game Day primetime game against his future team, Notre Dame.
And we said his presence early on, like right after ACC kickoff, we said his presence was noticeable. The next year, even though he was coming off not a great year, it was Cade Klubnik at Clemson. He walked in, everybody went whoosh. Everybody's just drawn to him. Guess what? Played so well that a bunch of mock drafts right now, he's the number 1 pick next year. Was unbelievable last year for Clemson, a team that ended up making the CFP. Broke a lot of hearts and opponents. He played much better. So we'll see if any of the 3 guys for the Triangle teams are that guy this year, but at least they got a chance because they're walking into the room. Wake Forest, we don't know if your quarterback's that guy because he ain't coming. We won't get the opportunity to run the test. Do you have a Dean's Lister you'd like to throw on here?
I was just going to say anybody that got invited to represent their respective team at ACC Kickoff. This is always one of my favorite times of the year to work here. I know you guys get to go to Charlotte. I'm back here at the ranch, but just still getting the videos together. And honestly, I kind of just like the pre-recorded stuff. All the interviews that you guys conduct throughout the day. It just feels like, we're joking around about we're this many days away from the college football season. We're this many days away from ECU versus NC State, Duke versus Elon.
Who's joking about that? That's serious business.
Monday Night Football College Edition, North Carolina versus TCU. Once ACC Kickoff comes around for those 2 days when you're providing coverage in Charlotte, that's where the hair really starts to raise up on your arm as a sports fan. And also, I have an idea for you and Dennis.
I'd like to hear it.
I think you guys should take a console down there with the new EA College Football 26 game and ask coaches that you interview how accurate their avatar is for the new game.
That's not bad. I will say they did last year have a whole room set up for a college football 25 where players could play against each other, and it was part of the conversation. So maybe we don't have to bring it down. Maybe we could just tell them to go look at it over in the other room.
Because the Mike Gundy conversation from his Big 12 Media Day yesterday of his reaction to his avatar is just hilarious. The afro.
Hey, mullet, afro, it's either way.
The gunfro, as I'm calling it.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Didn't get to many Dean's Listers there, but time is up, so we'll dismiss class.
We already did the big 3 at 3.
I feel like a teacher there. Like, I had more on the lesson plan for today, but there's the bell, so everybody go to lunch. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. That is the Dean's List. When we come back, those college coaches may have to, those very same coach we were just talking about, right? The ones in the triangle, the in-state coaches may have something their fans are not very happy with them about. I'll tell you what that is in a second. But first, Tim Donnelly here for Manor Service Company. We're going to talk a lot about coaches, right? As you just heard, they got to be the leaders. They got to select their captains, who they pick to lead their team, right? The next rung down on their hierarchy, very important. Manor Service Company, they get that as well. You talk to their owner, Brett, you hear him talk about everybody else he has empowered, the other managers, the other technicians, right? Everybody that is on the hierarchy beneath him at Manor Service Company, you can tell that, I know they're not, but they might as well darn be family, right? He trusts them. They've been around for a long time, some of them decades with Manor Service Company. And that's why, despite being such a large company, right, and they have hundreds of employees, and they service the entire triangle 24/7 when it comes to heating, cooling, plumbing, electric, all hours of the night, all over the triangle, it still feels like a hometown service company. right? It still has that family feel because that's something they prioritize, right? And by the way, that's important, right? It's a little different inviting someone into your house to work on your home, right? They're going to be in your kitchen if they're working on your plumbing, right? They're going to be tapping on your walls if they're looking for a leak. You want to bring someone in that feels like a part of your community. It's a little different than like, oh, for example, right now, my lawnmower's broken. I can go take my lawnmower somewhere they can fix it, right? They don't have to see my family pictures on the wall of my living room like somebody would come into your house to fix something like your heating, cooling, plumbing, electric. Maynard Service Company, they're part of our community. Despite being a very big, very, very widespread, locally owned company, they still give that feeling, I promise you. So give them a call, especially if you have an emergency with, again, heating, cooling, plumbing, or electric. But even if you're just thinking about maintenance, getting a checkup, making sure your systems are running properly. The number is 919-361-0993. That's 919-361-0993. 93, or visit them online at MaynorServices.com. That's MAYNOR Services.com. Up next here on The Drive, those coaches may have to answer something. Fans won't be happy, I promise you. I'll tell you why next.
Ready to order?
Yes. We're earning unlimited 3% cash back on dining and entertainment with the Capital One Saver Card, so let's just get one of everything.
Everything?
Fire everything! The Capital One Saver Card is at table 27, and they're earning unlimited 3% cash back.
Yes, Chef! This is so nice.
Had a feeling you'd want 3% cash back on dessert.
Ooh, tiramisu!
Earn unlimited 3% cash back on dining and entertainment with the Capital One Saver Card. Capital One, what's in your wallet?
Terms apply. See CapitalOne.com for details.
Hello, I'm John Heister for the Heister Automotive Group. And we're constantly looking for ways to serve you better. One of the ways we do that is with something we call a Go-See. And that's where you select a vehicle from our inventory, and we have thousands, and we get one of our product specialists to bring that vehicle to you at your convenience. How do we do that? Well, it's simple. We have a group of employees that are evaluated based on the number of presentations they do. They're glad to do it. So it's just one more way we get off our keister and bring Heister to you.
It's the first day of the first grade, and she found a new best friend. It's a laid-back Sunday afternoon you wish would never end.
The homemade taste of Bluebell and good friends gathered round. The good old days are being made right now.
You'll be one smart cookie when you try Bluebell Cookie Cake Ice Cream. A sweet cream ice cream loaded with chocolate chip cookie cake pieces and swirls of chocolate and vanilla icing. This cookie cake ice cream really takes the cake.
The good old days are being made right now.
The good old days are being made right now.
Look for Bluebell ice cream, now available at Wegmans.
That's the sound of a Mountain Dew. And that's you enjoying its refreshing citrus kick. That's a cool breeze suddenly whistling through your hair.
Whoa!
That's you realizing you're now on a mountain.
This is epic!
That's you stating the obvious.
Mountain Dew!
Do the Dew.
Hurry into Family Fare and get 2 20-ounce bottles of ice-cold Mountain Dew for just $4.29. Family Fare, first in thirst.
Prime Day is here. With great kitchen deals, greatness is a deal away. So if you love baking, you can get a deal on a new mixer. Transforming you into the Lord of the Loaves.
Hear ye! Make way for the baddin' of brioche, the sultan of sourdough, the lord of the loaves, prime member Dave!
Yeah, hi?
Shop great Prime Day deals now.
There's a couple other schools about the same distance, and maybe they should put us on their schedule as well, and so try to take our players. And that's what they want to call our players and take our players. Well, how about put us on the schedule? All right, and let's don't call that one a rival either.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. College football is almost here, everybody. We're getting close. Build the anticipation. Do you know what is one of maybe the best part about college football? I talk about sports in that it's the place you can go be like your barbaric self, your primal self. That ain't true. I mean, there's a couple different ways to answer that question. Tailgating is one of them. But I talk about sports being like you can go yell. Where in life can you go and be in a group of people and just scream without people looking at you like you're wild, right? Like, what is going on here?
Especially when you have somebody over a big microphone encouraging you to do it on third down specifically.
You get to go a little crazy, right? You get to let out, I call it, my wife and I talk about our 4-year-old, like when we're busy or whatever and he's cooped up all day, we go like, all right, we got to do something to get his yayas out. We gotta go for a walk. We gotta go up to the swing set. We gotta go to the park. We gotta go to a pool. We gotta get the football out, get the soccer. We gotta do something to get his yayas out.
Honey, the dogs has the zoomies again.
Exactly. Like sports are where, like, even as adults, you can go get your yayas out. You can go scream and you can boo and go nuts, right? You high five people you don't know, chest bump people you don't know just because they're wearing the same colors you are and you're in the same stadium. So that's great. It really, college football specifically, lets you kind of unlock your logic and go, no, I don't care. I'm biased, right? I don't care. This is my team. I don't care. This is my guy. This is my quarterback. This is my coach. I'm all in. And when you allow yourself to remove logic, it's almost freeing, right? It doesn't have to make sense. I'm just going to talk. It doesn't have to make sense. I'm just going to scream. Well, college football fans live up to that every single year. And I've been lucky enough to be playing or covering college football for a long time now. And one of the things that is just the most simplified of college football, specifically fans, is this sentence. If you just went back and got all the best recruits from the state that this team plays in, so if you're UNC, NC State, Duke, if you just got all the best recruits from North Carolina, you could win a national championship. Go look at it through history. And then they list all the 5 stars and 4 stars that went to Notre Dame or Clemson or wherever from North Carolina. And it's like, if they just got them to stay home, you wouldn't have to recruit anywhere else. As if it's that easy, right? Oh, they just got to go do that. But I'll tell you, whether it's logical or not, one of the ways to endear yourself to the fans of your program, when you take over a new program, recruit locally well. Get the local guys that are already making news in the local papers in high school and get them to commit to your university, and immediately those illogical fans that are unlocking their yayas will be screaming and defending you to the death. If that's the case, there will be no screaming and defending, at least not very much, here in the state of North Carolina. We have the high school OT guys. High school OT, check it out online. They do a great job covering high school sports of all kind. They're our colleagues here at Capital Broadcasting. Their kind of cubicles are catty corner to ours. So I've been talking with them. We're going to try to have Joel on the show next week. But they brought something to my attention that I went, ooh, fans are not going to like that. Pretty much none of the best in-state recruits for the current recruiting cycle, the 2026 recruiting cycle, are committed to in-state teams. Of the top 17 recruits, and the only reason I say 17 is because 18, 19, 20 aren't committed, and it's a little bit more up in the air if they're considering an in-state school. So you might as well say top 20. But of the top 17 recruits in the 2026 class from the state of North Carolina, we're talking football recruits, 16 are committed. The one that's not has a top 5 that does not include any local teams, no in-state teams. So he's going, unless he completely changes his mind, he's leaving the state. Of those 17 recruits, 2 are committed to an in-state school. None in the top 5. None in the top 10. Treshawn Ruffin, a defensive lineman who's 12th ranked in the state according to 247 Sports, is committed to UNC. And Xavion Griffin-Haynes, a defensive lineman who is 16th in the state according to 247 Sports, is also committed to UNC. That's it. No State, no Duke, no Wake, just to UNC, despite the fact that Bill Belichick took over. Fans aren't going to like that. Certain of you right now are listening to this and going, how? Why? You look at it, Notre Dame's represented, Clemson's represented. You can go through the whole, like all of the big bad bullies that you think are coming into your backyard and convincing your players, the ones that grew up going to your games, the ones that go to high school and everybody's wearing your sweatshirts and your T-shirts. They see all of that and are leaving the state.
This is almost giving me deja vu of Hendon Hooker, who grew up in Greensboro and then ended up playing his college career at Tennessee.
And actually at Virginia Tech first.
Virginia Tech first, then Tennessee.
Because I covered him when he was at Virginia Tech. And ironically, the coaching staff that brought him into Virginia Tech did a horrendous job recruiting Virginia. And thus, they lost their jobs. It seems simple. It is not, okay? Every coach talks about in their introductory press conference, they almost all use the exact phrase, building a fence around the state and keeping all the in-state recruits home. It's a little bit different in a state like North Carolina where there's so many universities and Power 5 schools all in the state, right? It's not like Dave Doran's like, we need to keep all the recruits home. And then they go to Chapel Hill and he's like, well, at least they stayed home. Like, no, he wants them to come to Raleigh or vice versa. It is a different recruiting time. If I were a coach, I would still put a huge emphasis on recruiting locally.
See, that's one of the main reasons why I played that ECU football head coach Blake Harrell's soundbite coming to this segment, just because you got to give a hat tip to him and to our friends down in Eastern North Carolina. When he took over as interim head coach after Mike Houston's departure, one of the reasons why Mike Houston was relieved of his duty besides the 3-4 start was because he was focused more on recruiting central, like this area of the state, and then going western and competing with, NC State, North Carolina, Duke, App State. When he has plenty of high schools down in Eastern North Carolina, I mean, just right down the road in Tarboro.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Havelock, some great programs, and Blake Harrell said we can't be called East Carolina and not recruit in East Carolina.
Yeah, that's a funny line, but it's true. But the thing for me is, it is hard, right? And the money is the money, right? And maybe players nowadays don't care where your school is located as long as you have the cash. That's why 5 stars are going to Texas Tech. If you've ever been to Lubbock, and I have not heard it is nearby a lot of stuff, right? It's kind of out in the sticks. So maybe it is just if you have the most NIL money, you go. But if it comes down to money, maybe cut down on travel. I don't know. Like, if everybody's spending all their time in Texas, Florida, California, then those are far away, right? That's a lot of flights. It's a lot of hotels. Save money where you can save money. I don't know if there's an easy fix, but I do know a quick way. And this will be my last point on it. I talk about 100% approval rating moves. When Josh Harris bought the Washington Commanders, right? New owner came in. My take was the first thing I would do if I'm new to a team is find 3 things that are 100% approval rating. Like if I took over, if I was a new athletic director and I took over one of the teams in the triangle, do you know what's the first thing I would do? I'd improve the stadium. I'd find a way to have the fastest Wi-Fi in a stadium that's ever been seen, because 100% of fans are going to go, that's awesome. Then I'm throwing a party for old legends. I want every single Hall of Famer that's ever worn our uniform and every single fan favorite player that's ever worn our uniform in the stadium for a party, pictures involved, so everybody knows. Because fans will automatically like that, right? 100% approval rating. Number 3, I'm trying to schedule something awesome, right? I'm trying to schedule a game in Ireland. UNC did that. I'm trying to do something where the fans will 100% be like, that's awesome. We can go on a vacation and see our team. And then those 3 things, right out the gate, universally approved, give me leeway if I mess up, if I make a bad decision, if I have to fire a beloved coach, if I have to do something less loved. Now they're like, all right, yeah, that's not great, but he's already up. He's up 3-1. Right? If a coach can dominate the state that they are recruiting, or they can dominate in recruiting the state in which they occupy, If Bill Belichick can dominate recruiting in North Carolina, then he has some off-the-field drama stuff like he's had a bunch of, and he has a weird interview on CBS Sunday morning. Everybody's going to go, well, that was maybe not great for our brand, but he's already up 4-0 because he got the 4 kids from Charlotte to commit, and the one from Chapel Hill and the other from this place. They all committed, and he's keeping the local guys home. You're ahead on the scoreboard right out the gate. Right now, you're behind on the scoreboard right out the gate. Top recruits in the 2026 class, Tennessee. These are from North Carolina and where they are committing. Tennessee, Notre Dame, Georgia, Oregon, Clemson, South Carolina. There's a player who has not committed yet, but Clemson and Texas are the leaders. South Carolina, Georgia, Miami, Notre Dame. Not many in-state schools. I want them to stay home. But that's maybe me being a little selfish. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. That maybe it is very me being selfish, but it happens. Right now, everybody, if you have already texted in beef for our Win Your Weight and Meat competition, be around your phone because during this commercial break, Graham's going to call one of you. And if you haven't done so yet, do it right now, real quick. Text BEEF, B-E-E-F, to 919-860-5326 for your chance of becoming one of our 10 finalists. We're going to call one lucky texter just about right now, and that person will join us on air, tell us their weight, and be one of our 10 finalists. All brought to you by the NC Beef Council. Beef, it's what's for dinner. Stick around.
Bank of America is the nation's leading business lender, and we're ready to help with your next goal here in the Triangle. That's why we have over 3,700 local business specialists across the country. Because with the right team, your business and community prosper. What would you like the power to do? Learn more at bankofamerica.com/local business. Bank of America, official bank of FIFA Club World Cup 2025. Bank of America Corporation, all rights reserved.
ZipRecruiter is the place. ZipRecruiter is the place for talented teachers, savvy software developers, and master mixologists. ZipRecruiter is the place where you meet all these people and more. That's because ZipRecruiter is the place for job seekers who are looking for new opportunities. In fact, ZipRecruiter helps 10 million people with their job search every day, so you can find the right candidates right away. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, let's talk ED because millions of men experience it, but not everyone can access or afford treatments like Viagra. Well, Hims can help. Through Hims.com, you can get a full range of treatment options for ED, including daily or as-needed meds through a 100% online process. It all starts with an online intake form. Get started at Hims.com/joy, and from there, a medical provider licensed in your state will determine if ED treatment is right for you. If prescribed, your medication is shipped to you for free. Find the ED treatment that fits your needs, with options up to 95% less than the brand names. Millions of men experience ED. But Hims can help. To start your free online visit and save up to 95%, go to Hims.com/joy. That's Hims.com/joy for your free online visit. HIMS.com/JOY.
I'm attorney Brian Ritchie. Workers' comp can be tricky, but my law firm will be on top of all the complicated paperwork and sneaky deadlines so that all of your I's are dotted and T's are crossed. If you've been hurt on the job, I'm on top of it. Contact us at ritchielaw.com.
Broadcasting live from the Lenovo Studios. WCMC HD1 Holly Springs. 99.9 The Fan. The Triangle Sports Leader.
I'm meteorologist Grant Skinner in the WRAL Severe Weather Center. Highs by this afternoon will reach to around 90 with heat index values approaching 100. Showers and storms likely by the evening with damaging wind gusts and flash flooding possible. Then storms possible early tonight with lows in the low 70s by Friday morning.
Weather update is brought to you by Newcomb & Company. Where your comfort is their business. Visit newcombandcompany.com. 4 o'clock check of your money. Dow Jones up 192 points at 44,650.
Let's move the chains. Time for football at 4.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. I just want to let all of you know, or one of you specifically know, but you can all hear it. Make this awkward, like you're at your friend's house and their parents are yelling at them and you're just there sitting like, We've called our Win Your Weight and Meet potential finalist, and they did not answer the phone. So they have 5 minutes to call us back.
3 now.
3 minutes to call us back, or else we call somebody else.
I mean, the sand is just falling in the hourglass right now.
And you may potentially lose your chance to win your weight and meet.
I'm disappointed, folks.
Imagine how bummed you'd be.
And so is the Beef Council in North Carolina.
You check your phone at 4:08. You see a missed call from 99.9 The Fan.
I know plenty of people that don't want to answer the phone when I pick up, including family. But look, I don't think you guys want it. I don't think you want the beef. I don't think you want the meat.
All right, hey, let them know. Felt like you were going to go into like a Herb Brooks speech there. Most days, gentlemen, you don't get to win your weight in beef. But not tonight.
That's what
tonight, you are a potential finalist in the Win Your Weight and Meat competition. You are the best potential finalist on the face of the earth.
So I'm giving the person that we call the benefit of the doubt. They still have 2 minutes remaining, but if you have texted in,
all right, I'll give the whole spiel one time here. If you've texted in beef, which
get ready, get by your phone.
You all should, make sure your phone is nearby, on, loud, good reception at 4 o'clock every weekday, because that's when we register you to be a finalist. We're going to register 10 finalists, and then on Monday, July 21st, one of those 10 finalists will be randomly selected to win their weight in meat. If you haven't texted in beef yet, there's still time, right? Because we have registered 3 finalists. There will be 1 more today. We still have 6 more to go. Tomorrow and all of next week, we'll be doing it at 4 o'clock. So text in beef, BEEF, to 919-860-5326. If you've already done it this week, you don't have to. It does roll over. It doesn't restart every day. So text beef, if you haven't done so, to 919-860-5326 for your shot at becoming a finalist. And then, yes, have your phone on, turned on, ready to rock at 4 o'clock each weekday, so we don't have this situation where we're waiting on a callback and rooting for you. We don't want you to miss this opportunity. We're on Team U. It's all brought to you by the NC Beef Council. Beef, it's what's for dinner.
And unless the person that I called initially is getting ready to hit a buzzer beater with 30 seconds remaining, get by your phone, step out of the office, go to the bathroom. Honey, I'll be right back.
I feel like your boss would be cool if you answer a phone if it means potentially. Maybe you'll have to, chop them off a couple of pounds of meat, right? Hook the boss up. Then they're like, all right, cool, you can take the call? Maybe. I don't know. I'm just spitballing here.
All right, here we go.
But yeah, all right, he's going to call the next one. We'll keep you updated. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. It is also a football at 4. And aside from 4 o'clock, potentially registering or definitely doing it, but potentially registering you as a finalist, 4 o'clock is also our football at 4, where we talk pigskin every single day. The Athletic, as our football for today, The Athletic put out, and Joe Person, who writes for The Athletic, conducted an anonymous fan survey for the Carolina Panthers. So they tried to get kind of the pulse of the Carolina Panthers fan base. And what I took away from it is Panthers fans are exceptionally lukewarm on the Panthers this season. They're exceptionally almost excited, not quite boiling, right? They're exceptionally wanting to be excited about the Carolina Panthers this year. With almost every question on the Athletics Panther fan survey, which you can check out at the Athletic. I encourage you to do so. You can follow Joe Person on Twitter. He has links. That's usually how I find out about it. With almost every question, the Panthers' majority was one below the most excited. As if almost they are afraid to let themselves get all the way excited. Right? If there is how do you feel about Bryce Young, 1 through 5, with 5 being the most excited, we'll go 4. Right? After Dave Canales' first season, how do you feel about the future of the franchise? Very optimistic, somewhat optimistic, not optimistic at all, or to be determined? Well, we're not going to go very optimistic. 55% choose somewhat optimistic. Panther fans are excited, but they're holding back. Panther fans are trying to hold their water, right? They're trying to hold back. Maybe it's to prevent themselves from getting hurt. Maybe one too many times you've let your imagination run away with you, and now you're throwing the brakes on and saying, I'm not going to let it happen. I'm not going to fall for it again. I'm not going to get my hopes all the way up again because they're just going to pull the rug out from under me. Isn't that part of it, though? Isn't that part of it? Seems like every answer is the conservative answer. Here's one for you. Besides Teteroa McMillan, who is their number one first-round draft pick, number 8 overall, which draft pick will make the most impact as a rookie? Well, guess what it does? It goes in order. Nick Scorton, the majority, 52%, chose Nick Scorton. He was a second-round pick. 24%, next most, Princely Umanmielen, the third-round pick. The 2 fourths, Trevor Etienne, Lathan Ransom, they're up next. It just goes down the list in order. What is your biggest concern entering the 2025 season? Is it the defense? Is it Bryce Young? Is it kicking, field goal, PAT? Defense majority, 54%. Bryce Young next, 43%. That is par for the course. I want somebody to be bold. I want the fan base to be bold about the Carolina Panthers this year. Everything that they've done is just, and by the way, like there's a lot of votes here, hundreds of votes on each of these selections. So it's not like I'm looking for one person. I want the fan base to allow themselves to break groupthink, right? To go a little crazy. To think, hey, we drafted a wide receiver number 8 overall. Maybe he's going to be generational. What grade would you give GM Dan Morgan for his work since last season? The options are letter grades, A, B, C, D, F. B, the overwhelming majority. B, right? Everything is a B. I can't help but think you're just trying to avoid being exceptionally wrong. Right? Because if it's great, you're like, yeah, we gave him a B. If it's bad, you're like, well, we gave him a B. I think the Panthers have conditioned. This is what I'm getting at. I think the Panthers have conditioned their fans to be terrified of high expectations. Brought in Matt Rule, got excited. Wheels fell off pretty quickly. Brought in Frank Reich, got excited. Drafted Bryce Young, got excited. Wheels fell off pretty quickly. So now Dave Canales has showed signs of life. Bryce Young showed signs of life last year. Some of the young guys have started putting things together, and you're like, I'm not doing it again. This is different, right? Judge every situation equally. I think this is different. Do I think they're going to go out there and be the 85 Bears, and they're going to win the Super Bowl, and they're going to dominate? No, I don't. Do I think they're even going to be like the second in the division 10-win team? No, I don't. But you can be excited while understanding if they win 8 games, throw a party. 8 games is an A. 8 games is you should be as confident as possible. How many games will the Panthers win? This might be the most aggressive that they were fans were in the survey. 8-9, the number 1 pick. The smart money is probably on 6-7, but 8-9, the number 1 pick, over 60% of you. Well, if that's the case, you got to be higher somewhere else. I'm not excited about any individual thing, but the team is going to way overperform. How does that add up? Where's the math? We'll go into some of them throughout, but this one I thought was interesting. On a scale of 1 to 5, with 5 being most confident, how confident are you in David Tepper, that's the owner, and the team's decision makers, that's Dan Morgan, Dave Canales, and Brant Tillis? Got a 4 out of 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The option 5, the best. 42%, a majority went with 4. David Tepper getting being a part of even a group that got a 4 out of 5. Would not have predicted that before the season. Maybe that's the most bold. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Again, if you sent in beef to 919-860-5326 in a text trying to win your weight in meat, have your phone on because we're calling. We're trying to register a contestant here, and they're not answering. So one of you might get a third chance at this one. Have your phone on. If you've texted BEEF in to 919-860-5326 to win your weight in meat, brought to you by the NC Beef Council. Beef, it's what's for dinner. Hopefully, we'll be registering our next finalist and giving you the ladder challenge coming up next. Don't go anywhere.
No, we actually have a contestant.
Oh, look at that. I
put
didn't
it
know.
in the show doc. Sorry. We have Garrett from Raleigh on the line right now.
Garrett from Raleigh, are you there?
What's going on, fellas?
Garrett from Raleigh. You got a second chance at life in this competition, but there's still one more thing you have to do. Garrett and Raleigh.
What's that?
You have to tell us what your weight is. No judging,
Finally,
but we have to know it.
Finally, going to pan out for me.
There it is.
Yeah, 205.
205. Okay. Solid showing. That would be, obviously, a pretty significant prize if you are chosen as the winner. So I will give you the piece of advice I've given all the other finalists, and you are the 4th out of 10. July 21st, that's a Monday. Have your phone on and loud and with good reception at 4 o'clock, okay?
Sounds like a plan.
All right. Appreciate it. Stay on the line. Graham has some info he needs to get from you, but you are one of our finalists to win your weight in meat.
Appreciate it, fellas.
Thank you. Garrett and Raleigh joins. We have, I think, a couple of Mikes and a Jackson locked in already.
I'm very disappointed, not in Garrett for qualifying, but just because he got a 4th chance at life.
That's how many people didn't call in or didn't
If
answer?
Garrett had it picked up, we were getting ready to go to our promotions director and say, we got to draw some more numbers out of the pot. What are we doing here, folks?
Can we check the cell connection? Is our line down?
You must not want the meat.
That means there's 3 of you out there that are going to have a missed call that really upsets you.
Yeah, there's about to be 3 people. One particular person that's going to get a voicemail from me from like 20 minutes ago. It's going to be like, wow.
Oh, there you go. Garrett and Raleigh took advantage of it. One person's mistake is another person's thrive, right? Another person's opportunity, and Garrett took advantage of it. He is one of our finalists. We have 6 more to qualify, so text in BEEF if you haven't done so to 919-860-5326 and listen and keep your phone on at 4 o'clock tomorrow and every weekday next week. All of it, as always, brought to you by the NC Beef Council. Beef, it's what's for dinner. Ladder challenge coming up next. Graham versus myself in a knockdown, drag-out battle. Stick around.
Dennis Cox here for my good friends over at Law Tigers. One of the things that I appreciate about being a motorcycle rider is that you are automatically part of a community. Now, doesn't matter what type of motorcycle that you ride, but there are people out there who are part of the motorcycle riding community that have your back, and that's exactly where Law Tigers comes in. Law Tigers, they're riders too. They are a group of lawyers across the state of North Carolina who have your best interests at heart when you are injured in a motorcycle accident. This is why you got to contact them at 1-800-LAW-TIGERS if you're injured in a motorcycle accident, even before you contact the insurance company. Like I said, they're part of the motorcycle riding community. They're riders too, so they know what your bike is worth. They know what your gear is worth. They know what you're going through after an accident. That's why your case evaluation, again, with them is always free. They don't get paid until your case settles. So call 1-800-LAW-TIGERS, North Carolina's motorcycle injury lawyers. Law Tigers is a network of independent law firms who are members of the American Association of Motorcycle Injury Lawyers. Law Tigers is not a law firm. Hey, Carolina Panthers fans, it's Dennis Cox from 99.9 The Fan. We're in the offseason, but it doesn't mean me and my co-host, WREL TV's Chris Lee, take a break from our podcast, Panthers Playbook. In every episode, we'll keep you up to date on Panthers news as training camp approaches, insights on the rookies, the free agents, and the surprises, plus all the insider info on the upcoming season. Follow and subscribe to Panthers Playbook wherever you discover your favorite podcast or watch on YouTube.
At Wells Fargo, we know what got you into your business, whether it's manufacturing, running a restaurant, or your business from home. What you didn't get into your business for was banking. But luckily, Wells Fargo offers business checking, payments, and lending all in one place, in your neighborhood and on our app, so you can focus on doing what you love. Wells Fargo, you're good at business, we're good at business banking. Learn more at wellsfargo.com/business. Terms apply. Wells Fargo Bank, N.A. member FDIC.
Are you ready for the ultimate entertainment experience? It's all here, only with Spectrum TV Select. Popular apps are included. Disney Plus, Max, Peacock Premium, Paramount Plus, AMC Plus, and more. And live TV for sports, entertainment, and news. Enjoy across your devices no matter when or where you are. Get Spectrum TV Select and start streaming your favorites today. It's all here. Visit spectrum.com/entertainment. Restrictions apply.
Why'd I go to the doctor?
My heart would race just taking my son to practice. It didn't feel right. So I got checked out. Turns out I have atrial fibrillation, which increases the risk of stroke about 5 times.
Symptoms like irregular heartbeat, heart racing, chest pain, shortness of breath, fatigue, or lightheadedness can come and go. But if it's AFib, the risk of stroke remains. If you have symptoms, contact a doctor.
I'm so glad I did.
Visit notimetowait.com. Sponsored by Bristol-Myers Squibb and Pfizer.
Adam Gold in studio with my friend Ryan Monsine from the Aluminum Company of North Carolina. Because you guys do everything for the exterior of your home, these things can add up. And there are a lot of people who think, I can't afford this. How can the Aluminum Company make it easier?
Yeah, well, Adam, we have plans that are 12 months, 0 interest, and 0 payments for 12 months, which make it super affordable for people to do anything on their home, whether it's windows, siding, doors, roofing, gutters, any kind of exterior home improvement. The Aluminum Company has financing plans that can fit in your budget and make it easy.
So wait a second. I can get everything done, no interest, and no payments for 12 months?
Yeah, and you get a lifetime warranty once the project's done.
I get a lifetime warranty once the project is done?
Yes, sir.
What about my down payment?
No down payment, no
What?
deposit.
No down payment, no deposit.
No payment until the project's done.
No payment till the project's done.
Exactly.
Where do I sign up? Aluminum Company of North Carolina, aluminumcompany.com.
You got to pump it up, don't you know? Pump it up. You got to pump it up, don't you know? Pump it up. You got to pump it up. We got Nikolai Ehlers, baby.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Graham, how'd you do in the ladder challenge yesterday?
I got 1.
You got 1, so I think you win.
Went 1 for 3. Actually, one of my bets got postponed.
So did mine. Actually, the game was supposed to be played. I should have been looking at this during the commercial break.
That's right, because I forgot that we had like a majority of the same games for our bets.
Yes. So the game was already played. Mets Orioles. What was your bet on that one?
Oh crap! It already played.
Yeah. So they.
Let me get the music bed. There we go. Home improvement.
Oh, I got that one. All right. Gunnar Henderson hit a home run.
Wait. Okay. So I had Pete Alonso to record 2 more hits plus 240.
All right. Let me see what you got here. Pete Alonso went 0 for 4.
All right. So I'm 0 for 1 today.
So
I'm already down the hole for today.
No, because that's all for yesterday still. So we can hold on. This is exciting radio, right? Hey, let's do some math.
Let's do some on-air math.
Okay.
To really embarrass ourselves.
So I believe the only bet I won was Juan Soto or Gunnar Henderson to combine, for 1 or more home runs, which means I have $23. How much money did you have?
The only bet that I won was Mackenzie Gord to record 7 or more strikeouts. He had 7 on the dot, so I had $16.80.
So I win. Appreciate it, Gunnar. Did we make money? No, but a win is a win. Take that, Graham. The good news is you weren't just a one-off replacement on in the producer's chair. You were a 2-off, so you have a chance to get me back today. I believe I'm on a 3-0 win streak against you, though. We do this occasionally when you fill in.
Yeah, you definitely are pulling my pants around my ankles right now.
Well, let's not get too crazy. But let's start up again, right? 3 bets, $10 each. Whoever makes the most money, whoever has the most money tomorrow is the winner. As the guest, you once again get to lead off.
NBA Summer League, of course, tips off tonight. We talked about earlier. We have Cooper Flagg making his debut against Bronny James. Give me Cooper Flagg 2 or more threes plus 100. I just feel like they're going to have him out there. They're not going to ease him into things, I don't think. I don't even think Cooper Flagg, with his athletic abilities, doesn't even need to be eased in things. I expect him to be doing all the things that we saw him at Duke, including 3-point shooting, just need him to make 2 or more.
I'm going in a different way with the same player. Cooper Flagg, Summer League debut. I'm going 6 or more assists for this reason. I've watched, obviously, all the triangle basketball, college basketball teams. I watch every game every year. So I've watched every single game of Cooper Flagg's college career. Some not live, right? Life gets in the way, but I record them and I watch every one. And from watching Flagg for an entire year, when he is in a moment where there's a heavy spotlight, he goes to control the action before he takes over as a scorer. He goes to kind of a I mean, I hate using these kind of analogies, but he's more from the tree of like Magic Johnson, LeBron than like Kobe, Jordan, in that he doesn't default to I'm going to score a bunch of points. Not making a quality comparison at all. I'm just saying that's the style of game. So when he needs to get going, he starts by making really good decisions and setting up his teammates. I think 6 or more assists in his summer league debut is a way that he could impress his way rather than what everybody wants him to do, which is to go out there and score 40 and knock down a bunch of threes and dunk on people and do that. He can, and sometimes he does, but I think he's more likely to go assists. So 6 or more assists plus 220, which obviously would turn my $10 into about 32.
It's interesting because for my second bet, I took Bronny James to record 4 more assists plus 116, not for any logical reason other than the fact that I think people are going to expect this game to turn into a Bronny versus Cooper Flagg showdown.
Mm-hmm.
I see Bronny James focusing more on distributing tonight than I see him taking over in terms of playing hero ball. So Bronny James to record 4 more assists plus 116.
All right, I left the summer league and went to the baseball diamond for my next 2 picks. I'm going to the Mets-Orioles second half of the doubleheader. They played the earlier game, which we talked about. Got the bet right on that one. They're going to be playing again tonight. So yesterday's game was postponed. They made it up this afternoon. At 5:05 scheduled opening pitch, they're playing again. Give me combined 2 teams over 1.5 runs scored in the first inning. And the reason being, the batters have already played a game. Right, the hitters, they're already in rhythm. They've seen a bunch of pitches, right? They're playing baseball. The starting pitchers, they are just getting worked up, right? They're just unusual, right? Usually the first inning is the first inning for everybody. So I'm thinking the hitters might jump on the pitchers a little bit. And I forget his name, but the Orioles pitcher that's scheduled to start this afternoon is one of the he has the highest home runs per, I think it's like 5th or 6th in the league, and home runs per 9 innings allowed. So could be some long balls from the Mets as well. It's plus 165, over 1.5 runs scored in the first inning. Turn my $10 into $26.50. And your final bet, Graham, is?
Well, I was going to carry over the Pete Alonso bet from yesterday, but since it got since that bet already happened, can I just do it again?
You can do it for the next game, absolutely. Just
sure,
we'll
just go we'll go Pete Alonso to record 2 more hits. I believe the odds maybe are still plus 240.
All right, you figure that out while I give my last bet. My last bet is also a carryover from yesterday. So yesterday I had Aaron Judge and Cal Raleigh for the Yankees and Mariners to combine for 2 or more home runs. They did not. They combined for 0 home runs. But they are still the 2 home run leaders, right? They are the home run kings this year. So I'm doubling down, right? The beauty of a bet like that is yesterday was plus 390. So you don't have to get it right every time to make money. But if you call it once and it doesn't happen and you bail, you may have given up your opportunity. So the odds are actually better today, plus 450, more respect for the pitchers today. But I'm doubling down. When 2 home run hitters like that have an off day, right, you got to think they're all in today to swing for the fences. Give me Aaron Judge and Cal Raleigh to combine for 2 or more home runs, plus 450, $10 into 55.
You know what? Just give me the Orioles money line, plus
Okay.
106.
All right, you just
screw it.
Just hate the Mets?
No, it's not.
Nah, that's cool. You know I'm a Mets fan. You come on the show. I welcome you. I let you go first because you're the guest. And you're like, oh, no, that team stinks. I get it.
I didn't feel like scrolling to try to find Pete Alonso's
I get it.
hit line.
Nah, I get it. I'm kidding. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. We'll find out who wins. Whoever has the most money on those bets tomorrow is the winner. Trying to keep my hot streak against Graham alive. Now, Graham, if you will, fire up little Hurri-Cons and Cons, if you don't mind. Hurri-Cons and Cons. It's been a while since we had a Hurri-Cons and Cons. The game is very simple. I don't know if you call it a game. The exercise is very simple. What are you most confident in, and what are you most concerned about for the Carolina Hurricanes? I thought it would be a good time to break it out because most of their moves, if not all of their moves, for the offseason have been completed. They brought in Nikolaj Ehlers. They've traded for Keandre Miller. They've re-signed guys like Logan Stankoven into long-term deals. Right, most of the movement that's going to happen has happened, so it's a kind of a good time to look around, assess, and decide what you are most confident in and decide what you are most concerned about. Now, as always, I've got good news and bad news. Which do you want first? You always take the bad news. So we start with the concerns. Graham, what are you concerned about for the Carolina Hurricanes?
I said it yesterday, and I'll say this again because it fits perfectly. If you want to be the man, you've got to beat the man.
Okay.
A term coined by legendary Charlotte native Ric Flair. I will always list the Florida Panthers as a concern.
Interesting.
Because they're always going to be the hurdle we have to jump over in the Stanley Cup playoffs to take this franchise to the next step. The Panthers are a juggernaut. I'm not breaking any news here, but I don't see them getting weaker anytime soon, especially with the guys that they just re-signed, Bennett, Marchand, all coming back, Ekblad as well.
Mm-hmm.
So this team has to be ready to match up with them year in and year out if we're even thinking about the possibility of winning a Stanley Cup.
I like that. That's thinking outside the box a bit, but basically saying your concern is the team that eliminated you in pretty emphatic fashion was able to keep darn near everybody, right? Keep that whole team intact. So you're still chasing.
It's almost like Buffalo Bills fans are always concerned about the Kansas City Chiefs as they were like, oh, eventually, we're going to play them in the AFC Championship game.
So every time they re-sign Kelsey, they're like, all right, he's not going anywhere.
Yep.
I don't hate that. I'm not saying they're the Chiefs up there, but they've won a couple cups. And by the way, I've said this a bunch of times. I hope the Canes want to face the Panthers in the Eastern Conference Finals every year. I hope they are clamoring. I don't necessarily hope they do, right? I would not be upset if somebody eliminates the Panthers in the first round, but I hope they want the Panthers, right? I hope they want to see Marchand again. I hope they want to see Sam Bennett again. That's just from a competitor standpoint. My concern is simple. Size. Right? Like someone like Nikolai Ehlers shows up, another undersized guy. Logan Stankoven signs the long-term deal, and it's particularly with the forwards. I know Miller brings some size to the back end. I might be going against Canes' logic here because I know that the Canes' reputation is that they'll take the small guys, right? The Jarvises. Even Aho's a bit undersized. Jackson Blake's a bit undersized. Stankoven's a bit undersized. I do care. I think you need to have some physicality. I think you need to have, a couple dudes that are 6'4", 220 if you can find them. It's the one thing that I don't really agree with the Carolina Hurricanes. And the Eric Tolskis, the Rod Brendamores, they know more about hockey. They've forgotten more about hockey than I'll ever know. But for whatever reason, I feel more comfortable if they just had some bigger dudes up there in the top six forwards. And without that, I'm going to be a little worried that teams like the Panthers or others are going to be able to out-physical them in certain important situations. As much as I'm excited about Ehlers, he's another guy that's not the biggest in the world. Now let's get to the fun part. If that's the concern, let's get to the confidence. Graham, what are you most confident about?
Well, it's funny when we started the show, you said this is the time of year where optimism is through the roof, right? And maybe I'm having a touch of that right now with what I'm confident in just because, and also maybe it has to do with the fact that this might have been one of the more bigger offseason for the Hurricanes in terms of acquisition, but I'm confident in this just being a heck of a year for this team. I think once that top line starts scoring, the secondary scoring from other lines won't feel as much pressure to score as much as we've seen in recent seasons, and it'll just begin to flourish naturally. They've improved goal scoring. They've added a big body with physicality in Miller in the blue line. This team, hands down, is much better going into this upcoming season than it was at the end of this season.
Mine is more abstract than that. My confidence is the culture. There's a point, and I've talked about this, where your locker room is so solid, the foundation is so built that you can start taking chances. Maybe the best example of this would be like the Dynasty Patriots, where they had so many like Teddy Bruschi's and Brady's and just Willie McGinnis, like these guys that were core parts of their team, that they could start bringing in Corey Dillon, who had a tough reputation with the Bengals, or Randy Moss coming off of a couple years with the Raiders where he was seen as a difficult locker room guy. And the culture would almost, absorb whatever concerns you had and turn them into Patriot Way guys. I think the Canes have that. I think they have this culture that you can bring in, question marks in the locker room, and they'll just absorb them and kind of turn them into Canes. But that doesn't mean you have to do that. It seems like Miller, it seems like Ehlers, obviously Stankoven, since he showed up, are excited and they fit in and their personalities work and they're unselfish. So the Canes are just continuing to add to the core group of dudes that just feel like Canes. And because of that, at some point, if they want to, they can take the chance, right? They can go get the guy, the JT Miller or whatever. They can go get somebody that has a reputation of being hard to deal with and just trust like, oh, yeah, he's a problem elsewhere. He won't be a problem here, right? Because we have everything locked and loaded. So the guys they brought in, they seem to fit. They want to be Canes. They want to be in Carolina. They're interested in long-term deals, obviously. So I think that's really, really good, and it gives you a lot of opportunities moving forward to make your team better in different ways. So there you go, little Hurri-Cons and Cons. You can end the music, but we're going to stay on the Hurricanes here on The Drive with Tim Donnelly on 99.9 The Fan. What are we now? We are 1 week, 1 hour, 1.5 hours. We are 1 week and 90 minutes, almost exactly, since the news broke that Nikolaj Ehlers was signing with the Carolina Hurricanes. It was last Thursday. We're at July 3rd. Everybody's getting ready for the weekend. Some of you may not even have learned till after the holiday because you were too busy having some drinks, eating some grilled food, and firing off fireworks. But I thought it's a good time for like a vibe check, right? Because when Ehlers signs for over $50 million and it's a long-term deal, and he was really one of the last big dominoes to fall in the free agency class, and right, a free agent chose the Canes. Everybody's got really excited. Everybody just woo, woo, woo. With a week, or more specifically, a week and 90 minutes. Are you still woo, woo, woo? Or did you came back down to earth, you evaluated some things. Let's get a vibe check. Here's where I stand with Ehlers. And it's ironic because I just said like he fits in as a Cane. Personality-wise, I do think he fits in as a Cane. Production-wise, you could argue there's a bit of duplication. Right, he is a winger. He's 25 goals. He's 60 points. Right, at kind of the top end of what he's been producing in his career. And you could say we have those guys. Right, we've seen it before. They have wingers. They have guys that can score 25. They don't have anyone to score 40, but they have guys that can score 25. They have 60-point guys. They don't have 80-point guys, but they have 60-point guys. With another one. Oh, but. The thing that the more I dive into it and the more I analyze his career and his production and his 10 years in Winnipeg, and the more I listen to people I trust in the hockey world talking about Ehlers' fit with the Canes, the thing I'm most excited about is where he's different, right? My initial reaction was I'm excited about where he's similar. All right, I'm excited about how much he wants to be a Cane. He chose the Canes. He had options. He may have even taken less money per year to come to the Canes, right? That's what I was most excited about at first. A week later, I'm most excited about the differences. He is great, statistically, for 5-on-5 hockey. I think the Canes need better scoring, better production, better wing production, forward production in 5-on-5 hockey. Right, we know they're great on the PK. We know guys like Jarvis and guys like Aho as forwards can be great killing penalties. We know that Aho is fantastic in overtime. Right, you give him a little bit of extra space, he's really good. You take a guy off the ice for a power play situation. They have some of those, but 5-on-5 at times it feels like the Canes are just killing time. Right, chipping it in, but there's enough bodies in there to muddy it up. They're just killing time until they can get a special team, or they can get to a situation where there's a bit more space. Ehlers, he's a 5-on-5 dude. I have some numbers to back it up. This past year, 16th in 5-on-5, right? Full strength, points per 60 minutes. 16th in the league. But the issue was he was 199th in 5-versus-5 time on ice per game. Right? So analytically, rate-wise, he's been great. He just isn't playing enough. He was 26th in all situations points per 60, 194th in all situation time on ice per game. So I'd imagine the Canes are going to play him more. and they're going to hope that stays up there, right? They hope the efficiency stays up there. My thing that I'm most excited about is what he can do at full strength. And then you have to look at why. Why is he so good at full strength? What does he bring that is different than the Canes when it's 5-on-5? And I think the thing that is most different is there's a physical ability he has that some guys on the Canes just don't, and that's speed. He's fast. Right? You don't always have to look the hardest, right? I talk about this in football. As a quarterback, sometimes you look at your receivers and go, that guy's big, tall, strong, and fast. I should throw it to him more. It doesn't always have to be. Raleigh, he runs a double route with excellent form, and he gets the defensive backs on his heels and then snaps off his brakes. Sometimes he's big, tall, strong, and fast. I'm going to get him the ball. Right? We could watch Ehlers and say his vision and his over 10 years in the league, he's developed this, and the advanced analytics say that. But sometimes, no, the dude's fast. He skates fast. Right? So when the windows are a bit smaller in 5-on-5, right? Because there's more bodies on the ice. When the kind of everything is more clustered, so the gaps that you have to try to shoot through, meaning as a like you have to skate through without being cut off by a defenseman. When they're smaller, speed helps. Right? It's something that he has that Martin Necas had that I think the Canes were obviously lacking post-Necas trade when they traded him out to Colorado. If Ehlers can be, and I've used this term before, kind of everything that everybody wanted Martin Necas to be, which is basically a fast forward to play off of the unselfishness of someone like Sebastian Aho centering them, and be a finisher and be selfish and go score goals and use your speed to produce points and be that guy, while also wanting to be in Carolina, not being as drama-filled, not being in every trade rumor, not having your dad on podcasts talking about things you want and things you demand. If Ehlers can be that, that's a great bit of business by the Carolina Hurricanes. That's a great bit of business for the Carolina Hurricanes. So I'm not any less excited about the Ehlers deal a week after. I'm just excited about a different part, which is kind of nice, right? So they didn't bring him in for one reason. They brought him in for a bunch of reasons. And if you're going to pay that much money to a free agent, it better not just be one thing you're looking for. It's got to fit in multiple ways. I'm excited to see how it plays out. And I hope they give him a long time, if necessary, to play into a rhythm with Sebastian Aho, because I think that top line could be something that I want it to be Aho and Jarvis and Nikolai Ehlers. And if that works out, I will be very, very excited. Second line could be a little bit more of a let's figure this out as we go. But that first line, I hope they give them a long time to figure it out, even if they start slow. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. A week with Ehlers. A week with Ehlers. Sounds like a cheap movie. The Drive with Tim, like a Lifetime made-for-TV movie. 1 week with Nikolai Ehlers. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Before we move on, I need to tell you all about Mainer Service Company. Tim Donnelly here for Mainer Service Company. Talking about more than one thing, right? You don't just bring in a player because he's good at scoring. They have to be good at scoring and passing and two-way hockey and fit the culture and bring speed. Mainer Service Company, it's not just working on your electrical system. It's electric, it's plumbing, it's cooling, it's heating. They do it all, right? When you're setting yourself up with who you're going to call when you need someone to work on your house, right? Something that's very important to you. You want to bring in somebody that can do it all, right? Somebody that you trust, someone with technicians that are highly trained in every aspect of those four I mentioned: heating, cooling, plumbing, and electric. And that's what Mainer Service Company is. Right, they don't cut corners. They make sure in every aspect they are taking care of you. Right, they'd be a really good free agent pickup if you get what I'm saying. Right, they'd fill all of the needs on your roster, rather than having somebody to fix your heating and somebody to fix your cooling, and you got to keep this other person their phone number for plumbing. No, just call Mainer Service Company. They can do it all. The number to call, 919-361-0993. That's 919-361-0993. Or you can visit them online, MainerServices.com. That's MAYNOR Services.com. Coming up next, we have a feedback frenzy. Graham's found the best feedback from all of you all over the internet, and he'll bring it on air coming up next.
Move your sports day forward.
You've been to the restaurant with the good food but the terrible service and atmosphere? That's the WNBA right now. Good basketball and the rest is a mess. The expansion franchises, junk, players criticizing officials, getting into fights, no suspensions. Commissioner Kathy Engelhardt has lost the locker room. She needs to go.
Get set up. Join Next Up with Paul Ihander. Mornings at 9 on 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports Leader.
Westwood One Sports presents this special tennis update sponsored by Prevagen. Prevagen, made for your brain. Much has been made about the drought for American men in Grand Slam tennis. No title since Andy Roddick at the 2003 U.S. Open. Taylor Fritz with 2 wins at Wimbledon could end that. As for the women, the last 4 slams has produced 4 different American finalists. Jess Pegula at last year's U.S. Open. This year, Madison Keys won in Australia. Coco Gauff won the French. And at Wimbledon, all of those 3 were seated higher, but it's Amanda Anisimova that is the one still standing. A semifinal 3-set upset of top seed Arina Sabalenka. So Anisimova will face Iga Swiatek in Saturday's championship. Swiatek hardly broke a sweat. Her semifinal rout of Belinda Bencic was 6-2, 6-love. Swiatek will go for her 6th Grand Slam title. She's won 4 French titles and 1 U.S. Open. With this tennis update, John Stashower, Westwood One Sports.
David is a real Prevagen user, and this is his story.
Nice to meet you. My name is David. I've been a pharmacist for 44 years, and I'm from Flowery Branch, Georgia. When I first started taking Prevagen, I noticed stuff just seemed to come together and fit like a jigsaw puzzle. When I have customers come in, I recommend Prevagen. Number one, because it's safe and effective, does not require a prescription, and I've been taking it quite a while myself, and I know it works. I wouldn't recommend something like Prevagen if I didn't think it was worth it because it works so good for me. And I love it when the customers come back in and tell me, David, that really worked so good. Makes my day.
Prevagen, at stores everywhere without a prescription. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. Testimonialist was compensated for their time.
Bank of America is the nation's leading business lender, and we're ready to help with your next goal here in the Triangle. That's why we have over 3,700 local business specialists across the country. Because with the right team, your business and community prosper. What would you like the power to do? Learn more at bankofamerica.com/local business. Bank of America, official bank of FIFA Club World Cup 2025. Bank of America Corporation, all rights reserved.
And it's Stankoven, he scores! A power play goal for Logan Stankoven. His second of the period puts the Canes up 3-0.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. At least once a show when Graham produces, there is a rejoined song that I just can't help but chuckle because I have no idea where it comes from.
You weren't expecting Panic at the Disco?
I was not expecting Panic with the exclamation point at the disco.
Well, I can make you chuckle.
That one made me chuckle.
Some of these YouTube comments might make you cry.
Oh, well, we'll see. I've got thick skin. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. That is a preview for what we have coming up here, which is a feedback frenzy. The way this works, Graham goes and grabs YouTube comments, social media comments from all of you, feedback to some of the conversations we've had over the last week, and we respond live on air. It's your chance to get your points across. Graham, what do you have for us?
Let's start with this one. Carol, this goes back to your conversation that you had earlier the week about Carolina Hurricanes could try either Logan Stankoven or Seth Jarvis at center for this upcoming season. This comes from Reagan721. Ask Rod himself and mention Kotkaniemi by name since you hate him. Rod said, don't want to move a player to center and make them worse. Center is hard. Then he mentioned Natchez and not playing him at center. Oh, this is golden. This is why I love me some Rod and to watch people like you act like a fish out of water for some juicy content. Fish out of water.
Okay, first of all, I wasn't the one that suggested it was a possibility that Seth Jarvis or Logan Stankoven could play center. Do you know who it was? It was Rod Brindamore. And it was on the Adam Gold Show right here on our network on 99.9 The Fan. So we were reacting to what Rod said about Seth Jarvis and Logan Stankoven being an option at center, just to try it out. I am against moving either of them to center. I would absolutely ask him about Kokaniemi. People think I'm first of all, I don't dislike Kokaniemi. I think he is a better player than we've seen the last few years, last 2 years specifically with the Carolina Hurricanes. And if somebody isn't reaching their potential in a scenario, sometimes it's just best to split ways, right? And I am a huge advocate for getting something in return when you trade away Kokaniemi, right? Go back. You can go on our YouTube channel. It wasn't even a month ago. Time's all running together. I brought up that as of right now, Kokaniemi, I believe, is the 77th highest paid center going into next year in the league. Give or take a couple because new deals have been signed. So maybe it's 80 by now. If you assume that there are a couple centers playing better than him that are still on rookie deals, that are still on their entry-level contracts, 85th, 87th highest paid, or like 87th ranked, I guess. That's a bottom half of the league third-line center. That's not bad value. He is a third-line center, he is a really good third-line center. That's not what the Canes need. If he wants to play fourth-line center, if they can work it out, I love that. Keep him around. But you can't look at the production over the last 2 seasons that he's given you and say that's enough from a second-line center. And I know he hasn't always been up there, but trust me, if he was playing better, he would be. Again, listen to Rod. If Rod's taking him out of the second-line center and putting Roslovic or even Jankowski at times or whoever else he's throwing in there, Stahl, whoever else he's throwing into that line occasionally, listen to Rod. I agree. What else you got for us, Graham?
Staying on the conversation with the Carolina Hurricanes, this comes from Drew Eatman 130. There's nothing more that I love than being in the middle of July and having a couple of line discussions.
There it is.
He suggests Ehlers, Aho, Svetch on the top line, Jarvis, Stank, Blake on the second, Hall, Stahl, Kokaniemi on the third, Martinook, Jankowski, Robertson to round things out in the fourth line.
So he's separating Stahl and Martinook?
Correct.
By the way, I think both Martinook and Stahl can play decent away from each other. I just don't see them doing it. Right?
Jarvis all the way down the third line?
Yeah, so wait, so it was Stankoven. I thought Jarvis was on the second line.
No,
I'm not visualizing this correct.
Second line. No, I had it wrong. I was reading it. Yeah, second line he has Jarvis, Stankoven, and Blake.
That's a very undersized line. I like all those players. Listen, top line for me, and this is, again, we are in July having line conversations, which is a little ridiculous, but it's also part of the fun. Fans are ridiculous, myself included. Top line, I want Aho, Ehlers, Jarvis, and I want to give them a long ramp to figure it out. Second line, we can get a little weird if you want to. If some combination of Svetch, Taylor Hall, Blake, Kokaniemi, Stankoven, like there's options there. I would assume Stahl and Martinook will play alongside each other, and like a Stankoven makes sense there. Jackson Blake may make sense there, but there's I would assume we see in the first half of the season a lot of different second line trial and error. But I hope that first line gets a real good look. That's just me personally.
On to the next one?
On to the next.
Let's go to our conversation regarding Will Wade and NC State basketball yesterday. This comes from Adam Davenport, 6421. It's kind of an interesting comparison. I kind of see what they're working with here. Will Wade is just like Jimmy V, was very personable, extremely funny, and he is also very level-headed, just like he was when he got hired. He is not messing around. He is very strong and strict with the team.
I'm so cautious with this analogy because it's like the comparisons, the comps going into the NFL draft, where every quarterback that runs a little, they're like, he got shades of Lamar Jackson in him. And I'm like, that's unfair. Even though what you're trying to say is, like, he's fast. And Lamar Jackson is just when you think fast quarterbacks, that's where you go. So I do think there is a bit of that era, right? The Jimmy V, Will Wade kind of fits that archetype. John Shire being the younger but very coachly coach. That's Coach K, right? And then Hubert Davis, a little bit older, but much longer history in the game. That's kind of Dean Smith-like, right? And that's probably the one that doesn't match up as well. But like Shire and Coach K, both, I believe it was both 33 years old or 33, 34 when they got, like, there's similarities to both. I'm just so, every time I make this comparison that the three feels very that way, I then spend 20 minutes talking off of, I'm not saying that he's as good as, I'm not saying Will Wade is as good as Jimmy V. I'm not saying that, they've done anything to earn the comparison between those guys, because those are legends and you got to win, national championships before you. But yes, I do see what you're saying. There is, and by the way, I think that's a good role to play. Like, I don't think you're going to out coach speak somebody like John Shire, right? He's so buttoned up. So don't try. Go do your own thing, right? Go be a little bit more brash and a little bit more personable. Like, obviously what Shire's doing is working recruiting, and I think what Will Wade is doing is working recruiting. So, and Hubert Davis has already played for a national championship. So there's things that have worked for all three of them. I don't think I think it's good they're a little bit different.
Last one here before we have to pay some bills. This goes back to our conversation we had yesterday about would the Carolina Panthers have a top 100 player this season. Jarius Behringer, 75-25, says, honestly, Chuba Hubbard should be on it from 84 to 100 for sure. He played so many minutes last year and also scored a lot of touchdowns.
It's hard to be a top 100 player as a running back. It's hard, especially one that doesn't catch the ball a ton. And especially one that doesn't make big plays. And that's not to say not important plays. I'm saying Chuba Hubbard is the king of like 7 to 12 yard runs, but he is not the king of 40-plus yard runs. To be considered one of the very, very top running backs in the league, it's kind of like winning the Heisman. You need a Heisman moment, right? You're not a real Heisman contender until there's that play that everybody's going to show in the highlight film when you're up there making your acceptance speech. You need, right, Lamar Jackson, second reference. You need Lamar hurdling over the dude. You need Johnny Manziel almost dropping the ball against Alabama, then catching it and making the throw. You need those wow moments. Without that, it's tough. And to be considered one of the best running backs, you need Derrick Henry, stiff arm, 80-yarder. You need Saquon, hurdles, right, while backwards hurdles. You need Jahmyr Gibbs, joystick, take off up the sideline for a long touchdown. If I told you to think of Chuba Hubbard's best play, what pops into your brain? Like a nice 30-yard touchdown run that was blocked up well and he hit the corner and just the angle didn't get to him before he got to the end zone. Like, he needs a little bit more pop. He needs a little bit more highlight to get there, especially when it's voted upon by other players, because they're watching SportsCenter. They can't watch every Sunday like we do every game because they're a little busy. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Before we move on, talking to pop, talking about highlights, I've got something to make everybody notice you. Tim Donnelly here for Bailey's Fine Jewelry, including the Fox and Bailey Watch Shop, where not only do they have the icons, right? Talk about when you walk into a room, everyone will notice. You get a Omega Speedmaster on your wrist. You get a pre-owned or vintage Rolex on your wrist, something like a Glashütte Original. These are watches, or a Blancpain 50 Fathoms, right? When those watches are on your wrist, those timepieces, you walk in, boom, everybody knows. But don't think it's just that. They also have some great independent watchmakers, things like Norcane, things like Nomos. These are maybe a little less known, but they are rising, and their quality is impeccable. So when you're looking to make that statement, right, you're thinking of, what do people think of when they think of me? I just did it with the running back, right? What's his best play? Imagine it in your brain. You want to stand out a little bit? You want to be a little bit unique in the crowd? Fox and Bailey Watch Shop, located inside Bailey's Fine Jewelry. Ask about the Norcanes. I'm big on the Norcanes. They're infusing some pops of color, some brighter, maybe fluorescent colors. Their materials on the straps are a little bit different, right? There is a time and a place for the classics. Don't get me wrong. Love them. The icons. there's also a time and a place to stand out a little bit, and Norcane's doing a great job with that, Nomos as well. So check them all out, Bailey's Fine Jewelry, in their village at the Fox and Bailey Watch Shop inside Bailey's Village District location in Raleigh. And when you are there, make sure you tell them you heard about it right here on 99.9 The Fan from me. You can talk to Nicole. You can talk to Josh. You can talk to so many of the guys and ladies there that work. They're all experts. And, again, just let them know you heard about it right here on 99.9 The Fan. We'll take a break. When we come back, the starting five, including a NFL legend that wants to bring some NFL to the college world. Stick around.
Evan, Canty, and Michelle are unsportsmanlike.
He's got Derrick Henry. He's got other weapons. Zay Flowers, Mark Andrews, Isaiah Likely. The defense took a big step up last year, and now you add Jair Alexander. You have a head coach who's won a Super Bowl. If it's not Lamar Jackson, I don't know who has more pressure on him heading into this season.
Unsportsmanlike.
Mornings from 6 to 9 on 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports Leader.
Is your heating and air system handling the hot weather okay? Call Newcomb & Company to ensure your system is running at peak performance. As a Comfort Contract customer, you'll get priority service and a 15% discount on all HVAC and plumbing service calls and repairs. Newcomb & Company, your independent trained dealer, has proudly served our community for more than 70 years, delivering reliable comfort and peace of mind. Call 919-862-3000 or visit newcombandcompany.com. Newcomb & Company, your comfort is our business.
When it comes to restoring cars, Diego's got skills. And with Total Wireless in his corner, the whole world sees them. With the dual camera system on his new iPhone 13, he can take amazing car photos and post them on the fly with super fast 5G, and even turn this hobby into a full-time gig. His claim to fame? Claiming iPhone 13 with 5G on us. Get iPhone 13 with 5G on us when you switch to the Total 5G or 5G Plus Unlimited 3-month plan. Total Wireless, in your corner. For limited time while supplies last. Valid in store. Device taxes and fees may apply. Requires port in and ID verification. Restrictions apply.
Hey, Greater Triangle area. Chick-fil-A wants to invite you to enjoy 3-count Chick-fil-A chicken strips on us in the Chick-fil-A app. Join us this week, July 7th through 12th, 2025, to get your reward for a 3-count Chick-fil-A chicken strips by downloading or signing into your Chick-fil-A app with location services on in the Greater Triangle area. Redeem when you order through the Chick-fil-A app at a participating Greater Triangle area Chick-fil-A restaurant from 10:30 a.m. to close. Offer subject to availability. Rewards are single-use only. Limit 1 per person per Chick-fil-A One account. See further details in the app.
This is Gordon Miller from Miller Lending in Cary. If you're in the market for a mortgage, good luck. Comparing apples to oranges is now more challenging than ever, as we've noticed a return to 80s-style lending with multiple points being charged up front in order to make the payment appear more attractive. Typically, the lowest rate quote you find will have the highest closing cost you'll find, as numerous lenders play this game of getting you to focus only on the payment and not the $15,000 due at closing. On refinancing, it's even worse, as lenders willingly add these costs to your loan amount. At Miller Lending, we don't believe in closing costs. By working with our popular no-cost program, you simply close on today's rates and refinance anytime you'd like. Nothing rolled in, nothing charged at closing. Imagine having the freedom to take advantage of smaller rate drops, opportunities to drop PMI, or simply put that money to better use. So before you throw away thousands of dollars in needless fees, pick up the phone and call Miller Lending today. 919-447-3377, or simply apply online at millerlending.com. Miller Lending is an equal housing lender and MLS number 250-2146.
I'm attorney Brian Ritchie. Getting hurt in a car wreck comes with all kinds of stress and frustration. But when you call me, I'll be on top of all of it. So all you need to worry about is getting better. If you've been injured in a car wreck, I'm on top of it. Contact us at ritchielaw.com.
Broadcasting live from the Lenovo Studios. WCMC HD1 Holly Springs. 99.9 The Fan. The Triangle Sports Leader.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm WRAL meteorologist Mike Mays. We expect scattered showers and storms to be on the increase this evening, up to about a 60% chance prior to midnight, 72 the low. We've dropped the chance of rain down to 20% for your Friday, so a drier and hotter day, the high 92.
Weather update brought to you by Newcomb & Company, where your comfort is their business. Visit newcombandcompany.com. 5 o'clock check of your money. Dow Jones closes the day up 192 points at 44,650.
It's 5 o'clock. Time to serve up the biggest sports stories of the day. Here comes your starting 5.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly here on 99.9 The Fan. Before we get into the starting 5, just because I know we have some new listeners coming in, right? 5 o'clock, everybody's getting in their car. Don't forget, text in beef. That's our keyword in our Win Your Weight and Meat competition. Text beef, B-E-E-F. No surprise spellings. To our text line, that's 919-860-5326 for your shot at becoming a finalist in our Win Your Weight and Meat competition. We will add a finalist by calling them at 4 o'clock every weekday this week and next week. So tomorrow and every weekday next week at 4 o'clock, we will call one of the people that texts in beef. You have to answer. So keep your phone on once you send in beef. And then once you answer, all you got to do is tell us on air how much you weigh. We won't judge, and you will be entered as one of our 10 finalists on Monday, July 21st. One of our 10 finalists will be randomly selected, and they will win their weight in meat. How awesome is that? The grilling you could do, the fancy meals you could make. You could experiment. You could become the smoker you've always wanted to.
The apocalypse you could prepare for. I'm kidding.
Hey, if that's what you're into. It's all happening right here on 99.9 The Fan, specifically on The Drive. And it's all brought to you by the NC Beef Council. Beef, it's what's for dinner. And also, the starting 5, it's what's happening right now.
Count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Sanders, empty backfield. Here's Shador with time. Shador in trouble. Sanders breaks contained, fires it down the field, and caught by Travis Hunter.
Shador Sanders probably loved Travis Hunter. I'm just saying. Some of those contested catches make a quarterback fall in love. Shador Sanders' dad now doesn't have his sons on the team.
He's probably not loving that.
Shador Sanders was the quarterback. Shiloh Sanders was in the defensive secondary for Colorado. Deion Sanders still coaching Colorado, both his sons in the NFL. And the Big 12, which Colorado is a part of, at least for now, right? Who knows when that's going to change. They had their media days this week. Spoke to the media, asked all the questions, and Deion had some interesting things to say about what he would change if, and actually this might happen too, right? If Deion Sanders took over control of all of college football, right? I guess if he continues his world domination, going from former player to Jackson State to Colorado, if someday he's running it all, what changes would he make about college football? This is what he said.
There's got to be a salary cap on this stuff because this stuff is going crazy and nobody know where it's going to land, where it's going to end, and you have so many different doors. It's like I would see a player that said he got an offer from another school, and I'm trying to figure out why you guys haven't investigated and how is that possible when the guy's not in the portal? How's that? Now, if that was one of my players, you guys would be all over it. I'm trying to figure out how can somebody say you got a $5 million offer? How? And the kid is not in the portal. So I think we need to be upright and upstanding. Secondly, I like the professional rules to be implemented in college. They're getting ready to be pros, so let's go 2 feet in, on the catches. Let's mark the foul if it pass interference. Let's do the same thing the pro game is. Let's do it to college.
I agree, Deion, on all accounts. Although salary cap, I don't know how you enforce that. And we're going to have the conversation tomorrow about some of the rules that are being implicated on NIL deals and the NIL Go or whatever they're calling it that you have to submit your deals through, because that's going to be a mess of red tape. But if you could implement a salary cap, I don't know. I don't think it'd be bad for the league, or I don't think it'd be bad for college football, although I don't know how you get players to agree to it.
I also don't see how you see schools agreeing to it in terms of some of these top programs in college football, like in Alabama, Ohio State, Tennessee, saying, why does our amount need to be cut off here just because a team like
Tulane?
I didn't want to throw a team under the bus. Graham Hill Institutional University.
Throw a team. Pick a team. I'm going to make you pick a team. Generic poor football team. Who are you going with?
Wow.
Who are you going with?
Now when you phrase it like that, now I really feel bad that I'm going to.
I'm kidding. You don't have to.
Yeah, Graham Hill.
How funny would it be if you just went, Oh, okay, generic poor team. Oh, in that case, it's blah blah blah. That would have been funny. Anyway, continue.
I don't see schools being able to agree to that in terms of I'm not giving up the possibility of making more just because this team's making less.
Well, there's pros and cons, right? Because if you're Tennessee and you're like one of the rich teams, Texas A&M, you're bringing in $200 million a year to your football program, and you have say $50 million salary cap. I don't know. I'm picking a number. You have $150 million that you get to pocket, right? Or pay your coaches or build facilities. Meanwhile, if you're bringing in $200 million and you get to spend as much as you want, maybe you're spending $150 on the team. I'm just picking numbers. Again, these aren't reports. Now you only have $50 million to make your program better, or to increase your basketball program, or to do whatever else. Right? Money is always an advantage, no matter who's getting it. I just don't see why players would agree. There's no collective bargaining system. There's no union for college players. So if right now it's uncapped, why wouldn't the government get involved and say you can't limit how much they're allowed to make without giving them a spot at the negotiating table? But other than that, as far as aligning the rules between college and the pros, I think that makes sense. I think it does. All the way down to play with the same football, right? Right now, because of endorsements or deals or whatever, I don't even know if people know this. In college sports, the basketballs aren't the same. The home team gets to pick the basketball. There's Spalding or Wilson or Nike or all these. If you go to someone else, most teams have a bunch of racks of balls for the ones that they play with. Then they have a couple racks of all the other brands. So when they're getting ready to go play at a Spalding school, they practice with the Spalding balls that week.
I didn't even think about that. It's all about the sponsorship.
Because, you have a deal with whoever. And same is true with football. If we played with a Wilson GST when I was in college, and I loved it. And when we had the ball offensively, we played with a Wilson GST. When the other team had the ball, they could play with a Nike ball. They could play with whatever they wanted to. So it was literally different footballs. I don't know if there's an advantage there. I don't know if we're going to suspend players for putting a little deflation in football in the NFL. I think having a completely different ball might matter a little bit. So there's a lot to get in line. I think they should use an NFL ball. I think they should use NFL rules. There's really not that much change, right? Bring the hash marks in a little bit, 2 feet in on every catch. Those things, they should be the same. Shout out to Deion for getting it right. That's number 5. Let's hit number 4.
1, 2, 3, 4, all together.
Bailey, shotgun, snap left hashes, QB keeper, dives forward, touchdown. Bailey is 3rd of the night.
The ACC Media Day, kicking off in a couple weeks. The ACC kickoff, it's kind of the unofficial start to ACC football season for those of us that haven't been in ACC football mode for a month already. And today they announced, the league put out press conferences, social media, or press releases, social media posts, the whole 9. The players that will be accompanying their coach to Media Day. This event is becoming bigger and bigger every year. It's more days. It used to be 2 players, right? I don't know how long ago. It used to be a coach, an offensive player, defensive player. Now every team's bringing 4. There's little things we can parse from this, right? Little bits of information. For example, Gio Lopez, the incoming transfer quarterback for UNC, is showing up with Bill Belichick and a few other players. He's been invited. The coach has chosen him. That pretty much tells us they're not even going to hold up the facade of a quarterback competition, right? They paid a bunch of money to get him on campus. He's going to be their quarterback. Same true for Darian Mensah, incoming transfer for Duke. Same thing for CJ Bailey. He holds the job at NC State and did at the end of last year and will continue to do so. So the quarterback's kind of settled, right? We know that. The other thing is, and I don't know how the ACC schedules days, but I do know, as somebody that cares about getting the big names on the show, because we go and we cover these events, there's usually some very, very highly sought after subjects, some players, some coaches that everybody wants to talk to the first and last day, because they want reporters to have to be there the whole time, right? They don't want day 3 to be Cal, Stanford, SMU. I'm just now picking bad or teams that don't get the same coverage, right? Pittsburgh, and then everybody leaves after day 2, and there's nobody to interview. So looking at Thursday, right? These are the ones that you got to stay all the way to the end to
the main event.
The schools that are there. Clemson makes sense, right? Dabo is one of those dudes. We talked about it. When he walks in the room, everybody notices him. He's shaking hands. He's laughing. He's telling jokes. But Cade Klubnik, potential number 1 overall pick next year, like they've got stars. Duke, Carolina, State, all on Thursday. Now, obviously, Carolina with Belichick is a certain pizzazz, but all 3 of them, I believe, are on the premier day. Like wherever Clemson goes is a pretty premier day. That's important, right? That's important. For what everybody wants to talk down upon the ACC, and we've heard a bunch of it, right? It's not the SEC, and I'm not saying they are quality-wise. It's not the Big Ten. No, they haven't had a couple national champions in the last few years. The ACC has to make up ground. You can't tell me they're not interesting. And you can't tell me right here in the triangle is not interesting, right? These teams are going to be watched and scrutinized, right? And then the ACC knows it, thus they put them all on one of the premier days. They put them alongside Dabo, right? When everybody's there and the energy is high, all 3 teams from the triangle are going to be there. And it's, Darian Mentz people are going to want to talk to him, right? The reported $3-4 million quarterback at Duke, trying to build off of what a transfer did last year in Malik Murphy and keep the train on the tracks. Bill Belichick and the players that are playing for Bill Belichick will be asked every question you can imagine, right? All those ones that have been bouncing around in your head about this entire offseason. This is where they kind of have to address it. And then obviously State fits in with the group, and they've been quiet. We've had Dave Doran on the show once, and I asked him, like, are you intentionally laying low? Because Will Wade, your basketball coach, guy's making headlines, right? He's finding microphones to make clips.
He's out interviewing players.
Yeah, exactly. Bill Belichick is in every tabloid you can find this offseason. You know what Duke brings, and they're off some of the best seasons they've had in a long time on the football field. Meanwhile, State's just been quiet, right? Not a lot of big-time transfers coming in. Not like they won the offseason last year. This year they've been quiet. Now we get to hear from them all, right? They got 4 guys coming in a head coach, and they're all going to talk, and we're going to get to hear what this quiet offseason, right? No one got to see their spring game. They didn't make it open to the public. This is our first chance to see what this year's team looks like. I'm excited for it. That's number 4. Let's hit number 3.
With the first pick in the 2025 NBA Draft, the Dallas Mavericks select Cooper Flagg from Duke University.
Speaking of our first chance to see Cooper Flagg in an NBA uniform. Tonight, NBA Summer League debut for the number 1 overall pick for the Dallas Mavericks. He'll be facing off against the Lakers, which you will hear it billed this way. It's Cooper Flagg versus Bronny James. If we're talking about like top-end, high-end, expected to be NBA talent, it's Cooper Flagg versus Dalton Knecht. But Cooper Flagg versus Bronny James will probably sell more tickets. I'm gonna stick with this. I refuse to be the fire extinguisher putting out the hype on Cooper Flagg. When people get excited about an NBA Summer League debut, there is this gut instinct by many to go, it's Summer League, who cares? I go, no. Cooper Flagg is one of the more interesting athletes on the planet right now. He is, and I can't emphasize this enough, a kid from a small town in Maine that gets compared routinely to Kevin Durant and LeBron James and Zion Williamson as far as the level of prospect that he is going into the NBA. It just doesn't happen that often. He's a fascinating story. And we got to watch him up close and personal at Duke for a year. But now that he's in the NBA is an entertainment product. Do you think it's a coincidence that he is opening his Summer League against the Lakers?
No. There's a reason why they want to have ticket prices go up. So that way you're seeing right now some courtside seats on the secondary market close to $3,000.
And by the way, what is Summer League for? to get you used to what it's going to be like in the NBA, right? To get you used to NBA style of play and a little bit older players, and to get you used to being a pro, and that's what Summer League is for. Well, guess what's the NBA is going to be like for Cooper Flagg? Every game, win, lose, or draw, good game, bad game, mediocre game, every game is going to be hyped.
You're going to have a crowd, yeah.
It's going to be scrutinized. Every shot attempt, good, bad shot, should it have gone in? What's he shooting in the month of whatever? What's he shooting from three? Oh, what's he shooting when D'Angelo Russell's on the floor? What's he shooting when Anthony Davis is on the floor? Like, all of that is going to be over-scrutinized. So, I mean, I think most people, maybe outside of the rivalries in our area, are rooting for Cooper Flagg, because why wouldn't you, right? Why wouldn't you root for a young person to achieve their dreams? You root for them all, unless they're from your rival school or playing against your favorite team. If you're rooting for him, you almost need to put the hype on his NBA Summer League, because that's the only way you get him ready for the times 10 hype that is going to be on his NBA debut or his NBA first time in a city, right? It's going to be there. So let it rock. And then I'm interested to see how he plays it, because up to this point, the meat of the game has never been too much for Cooper Flagg. Right, the first all but the last 2 minutes, he's looked comfortable in every situation. Few times he's gotten a little shaky down in the final moments. Right, going back to the Kentucky Kansas games early on in their season for Duke. But I expect to see. I don't expect them to care about who wins a summer league, so I don't think they're going to be like shooting for buzzer beaters and stuff. But for the bulk of the game, I want to see if he continues to be that calm. Or if there is, at some point, everybody gets nervous, even Cooper Flagg, because we haven't really seen it yet until the final moments of a game. That is number 3. Let's hit number 2.
Just the two of us. You got to pump it up, don't you know? Pump it up. You got to pump it up, don't you know? Pump it up. You got to pump it up. We got Nikolai Ehlers, baby.
That was Dennis Cox sitting in for me while I was out at the beach. 1 week ago today. 1 week ago. And that's the Pump It Up song that he plays all the time. Because it was on YouTube, right? All right. For those of you that don't know, first of all, subscribe to our YouTube, 99.9 The Fan.
We're breaking the fourth wall here.
We'd love to have you there. On YouTube, we can't play any copyrighted music, because then it's online and people get real upset, and there's flags and your YouTube account gets suspended. So subscribe to our YouTube, 99.9 The Fan, and just know that occasionally you're going to see me like dancing or Dennis singing like you just heard, and you won't hear the music if you're watching on our YouTube live stream. So some people in the office thought it was quite funny to see Dennis singing along with music that you couldn't hear online. But that was his reaction to Nikolai Ehlers signing with the Canes. Is everybody still that excited? We are 1 week in. It was 1 week ago today. News broke that Nikolai Ehlers was signing with the Canes. I talked about this earlier. I am every bit as excited, although the more I think about it, the more it's for a different reason, right? At first, it was because I thought he fit in so well with the Canes. Guy that plays unselfish hockey, a guy that seems to want to be a part of the Canes, which has been an important part of the last couple of months with Carolina. Right, a lot of things that were similarity. He's going to fit in well. With a week to think about it, I'm excited about the differences. I'm excited about how he brings a certain amount of scoring to 5-on-5, something that some of the guys on the team currently haven't been exceptional at. He brings a certain amount of speed, which is not the calling card of many guys on the Carolina Hurricanes, especially not since Martin Necas left. So I'm just as excited that Ehlers chose Carolina, just maybe for a little different reason. But it's been a good week having all those conversations. And Keandre Miller as well, although that was longer than a week ago. As number 2, let's hit number 1.
They still got that one timeout left in their back pocket. Dalton taking a shot to the end zone. It is caught. Adam Thielen. Magnificent pass from Dalton.
The Athletic and Joe Person, who is their beat writer for the Carolina Panthers, conducted a anonymous Panther fan survey where they asked 16 questions of fans with covering a whole multitude of football angles, and they posted it on The Athletic. So I encourage you to go check it out. all 16 questions. You can see the answers. Do you agree or disagree with the masses of Panther fans? We've talked about kind of overarching reactions already. You can go back, find that on YouTube, find it on our live stream. But now I want to focus in on a couple questions. Do you know what was the most surprising one for me? The last question. And it was, who should be the next former Panther selected to the team's Hall of Honor?
This one raised eyebrow for me too.
My brain went, all right, it's going to be 85% Cam Newton, right? My brain went the former MVP, the Superman, the dab, that guy.
That's who I said.
Luke Kuechly, 15% more than Cam. Luke Kuechly got 45% of the vote, Cam 30% of the vote. No one else more than 11. That was Thomas Davis. By the way, I'm as big a Luke Kuechly fan as you can have. And he's, defensive player of the year and all pros and all those things. Maybe I'm quarterback biased because I played quarterback. I'm surprised. I thought Cam would have been a runaway, and then Luke Kuechly would be next.
Well, I said Cam Newton just because, one, there's a relationship between Cam Newton and this organization that needs to be bridged.
That's also true. Kuechly, Davis, Greg Olsen, you can tell there's some love there between.
Kuechly does the radio broadcast.
Kuechly does the radio broadcast. Thomas Davis does the media stuff as well, interviews and shows and things for Panthers media.
Greg Olsen most of the time gets put on a Panthers game for his television broadcast.
And there's other partnerships that take place there philanthropically. And Cam Newton, there's been some iciness. Putting him in the Hall of Honor could ease that relationship a bit. And I believe that Dave Canales is the type of guy who would be excited to ease that type of relationship, as would be Dan Morgan. So I was surprised. I'll just put it that way.
I think, too, and I know we're comparing apples to oranges, not saying that you recruit, obviously, in the NFL, but you need an endorsement, or you need an endorser. You need a spokesperson for your organization. And I feel like Cam Newton, the last quarterback to take the Panthers to the Super Bowl, and again, former MVP, what better spokesperson to have in your Hall of Fame?
I'd take it a different route, although what you're saying is true. If I'm David Tepper, right? And who was it? It was the Orioles owner.
Yeah.
So the Orioles owner recently, new owner, right? Just bought the team, I don't know, within the last year or two. They fired their coach. They're in a transition period. Really disappointing this year, Baltimore Orioles. And he just spoke to the media for the first time since firing the owner. And he said, he's like, listen, I let the baseball guys do the baseball stuff. He said, I'm the owner. It's my job to worry about business. It's my job to worry about merchandise, ticket sales. And I'm paraphrasing, but he said, that's what the owner does. If I'm David Tepper, I don't care what reuniting with Cam Newton does for the football, right? Because I'm looking at Dave Canales and going, whether you have a good relationship with Cam Newton or not, I need you to turn Bryce Young into a star, right? Like, that's irrelevant. But Cam Newton is good for business in Carolina.
Yeah.
If you have him at a game, you're selling a lot of number one jerseys, right? If you walk around a game at Bank of America, you're seeing a lot of number one jerseys. Imagine, I don't know, selling the ridiculous hats he wears in the team store. Like, there's money to be made by bringing Cam Newton back into the mix. His podcast is wildly popular, right? If you can leverage some of that branding towards making Panther fans, there's business opportunities there.
I was just getting ready to say, from a marketing standpoint, imagine the game that you bring Cam Newton back to induct him into the Hall of Fame. There's like a fedora giveaway, a Carolina Panthers themed fedora giveaway to all the fans. And then once you get into the stadium, what's on my seat? It's a Carolina Panthers themed Superman t-shirt or like rally towel.
It's going back to what I said earlier. If I were to be an owner of a team, especially a new owner, and I know David Tepper isn't really new anymore, it's been over half a decade, I'm looking for universally approved. I'm looking for things I can do that near 100% of the fans would love. And former players being celebrated is about as universally approved as you can get. Not saying Luke Kuechly wouldn't, by the way. When Luke Kuechly goes into the Hall of Honor, that game's going to have a lot of 59 jerseys out there as well. But it's just he's already around, so it's not quite the same. There's a lot of other things in the fan survey. Go check it out, again, on The Athletic. Joe Person with the execution of it. It covers a lot of aspects, I should say, of Panthers fandom. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. We need some numbers game contestants, don't we? We have a 4-pack of tickets to the Monster Jam at the Lenovo Center coming up July 26th that you can win if you win the numbers game. We need 2 contestants to call in, so we'll open up the phone lines now. 919-860-5326. Call in now, 919-860-5326. Graham will get you set, and then you'll play the numbers game live on air. Again, the prize, 4-pack of tickets to Monster Jam at the Lenovo Center on July 26th. With awesome trucks, amazing stunts, action-packed excitement, and big air, Monster Jam is the definition of fun for everyone. Numbers game coming up next.
Dennis Cox here for my good friends over at Law Tigers. Something for everyone out there that's on a motorcycle that's either thinking about getting on, maybe is a rider currently, or maybe has ridden in the past. Make sure that you are wearing the proper gear when you're out there on the road. I've seen too many motorcyclists out there on the road that aren't wearing the proper gear. People that are wearing flip-flops, that are wearing shorts, that are just wearing short-sleeve T-shirts. Make sure you are doing everything you can to be safe out there on the road, because we all know the risks that come with riding a motorcycle. And if you are injured in a motorcycle accident, because unfortunately accidents do happen, this is where Law Tigers comes in. They're part of the motorcycle riding community. Call them at 1-800-LAW-TIGERS even before you get in touch with the insurance company. Their case evaluation with them is always free, and they don't get paid a dime until your case settles. So call 1-800-LAW-TIGERS, North Carolina's motorcycle injury lawyers. Law Tigers is a network of independent law firms who are members of the American Association of Motorcycle Injury Lawyers. Law Tigers is not a law firm.
Evan Canty and Michelle are unsportsmanlike.
He's got Derrick Henry. He's got other weapons. Zay Flowers, Mark Andrews, Isaiah Likely. The defense took a big step up last year, and now you add Jair Alexander. You have a head coach who's won a Super Bowl. If it's not Lamar Jackson, I don't know who has more pressure on him heading into this season.
Unsportsmanlike.
Mornings from 6 to 9 on 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports Leader.
Fargo, your virtual assistant from Wells Fargo, makes banking faster and easier. Like this.
Fargo, what did I spend on groceries last month?
And this.
Fargo, turn off my debit card.
And this.
Fargo, what's my checking account routing number?
And that's just the beginning. Do you, Fargo? You can in the Wells Fargo mobile app. Learn more at wellsfargo.com/getfargo.
Fargo is only available on the smartphone versions of the Wells Fargo mobile app. Wells Fargo Bank N.A., member FDIC.
It's bow time. Something new just dropped at Bojangles. Take the bold taste of a crispy golden chicken supreme that's been seasoned to perfection, then add dill pickles, Carolina Gold barbecue sauce, and a toasted bun that's great on the go. What do you get? You get a Bo's Bird Dog. In fact, you can grab 2 of them for $5. So when you're on the go, headed to practice, or need a snack, grab a Bo's Bird Dog. Hurry in before they're gone. Available for a limited time. It's bow time.
There's no time like bow time, but sometimes it's go time. No time to stop, but the perfect time for a Bojangles Bird Dog. A seasoned to perfection Bojangles Chicken Supremes, dill pickles, and Carolina Gold barbecue sauce, all tucked inside a toasted bun. Great on the go. Try 2 bird dogs for just $5 or 2 bird dog combo for just $8.25. Available for a limited time only. When you're hungry for flavor and value, it's bow time.
Fill your tank. Don't drain your wallet. Sam's Club lets you save time at the pump with Scan and Go checkout at Sam's Club fuel stations. Just scan the QR code on the pump and pay. Visit your local Sam's Club today.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. It is time to play the numbers game. We have a couple contestants on the line. They're going to battle it out in jersey number knowledge for a 4-pack of tickets to Monster Jam at the Lenovo Center on July 26th. Awesome trucks, amazing stunts, action-packed excitement, and big air. Monster Jam is the definition of fun for everyone. The contestants are Matthew in Raleigh and Micah in Morrisville. Now, Matthew and Micah, if you were listening yesterday, you already have a hint of how we're going to decide who goes first today. Graham suggested it. We are looking for, since we're giving away Monster Jam tickets, whichever one of you makes the best monster truck sound effect, as judged by our producer today, Graham Hill. So Matthew and Raleigh, are you there?
Yes, sir.
All right, we need to hear your best monster truck sound effect. Give us the rumble that you imagine a monster truck would make. You know what? Turned into a sports car there about halfway through.
Corvette.
But I like it. Matthew and Raleigh. Graham, any follow-up questions?
No, I just want to know what monster truck he's driving that has that kind of motor on the back.
Those of you with toddlers at home, it turned a little Lightning McQueen there in the middle, little ka-chow. Micah in Morrisville, you're up next. Micah, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
All right, Micah. I know you listen to the show enough, but I'm not sure you were prepared for this. Can you give us your best monster truck sound effect?
Yeah, sure.
All right, there it is, Graham. You are the judge. You get to pick between Matthew, who kind of went sports car, and Micah, which sounded a bit like a mooing cow, if we're being honest.
I heard a lawnmower trying to start.
All right, that works.
That's what I heard. I think I gotta go with Matthew just because he incorporated the Lightning McQueen sound effect in there too. It sounded like.
All right, Matthew and Raleigh gets to go first. Micah, stick around. You'll have your chance. Just have to wait on hold for a minute. Matthew, are you there?
Yeah, really quick. I'm pretty sure I know Micah, and I'm probably about to get wrecked.
If we know Micah as well, in one particular category, he does quite well. So the categories for you to choose from Matthew. Let me start over here. The categories that you get to choose from, Matthew, are NFL players born in early July, NFL players born with, NFL players that have earned STEM degrees, that's science, technology, engineering, or math, NBA players with at least 450 double-doubles all time, and NHL players, of course, Hurricanes only, and I promise you I will not stumble through the names like I just stumbled through the categories. Which one are you rolling with?
I'll do the July NFL players.
All right. I'll give you the team and the player. Give me the jersey number as quickly as you can. 30 seconds on the clock. One pass if you need it. Do you have any questions before we get started?
I think I'm good.
All right. Your time will start when you hear the horn. Antonio Brown, Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
84.
Incorrect. TJ Hawkinson, Minnesota Vikings.
87.
Correct. Brandon Jacobs, New York Giants.
28.
Incorrect. Antonio Brown, Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
17.
Incorrect. Brandon Jacobs, New York Giants.
Pass.
Trent Green, Kansas City Chiefs.
45.
Incorrect. Antonio Brown, Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
11.
Incorrect. Brandon Jacobs, New York Giants.
42.
Incorrect. Trent Green, Kansas City Chiefs. Antonio Brown's a tough one. He's played it like surprisingly in a lot of different uniforms. 81 was his number with the Bucks.
I was just about to say, when Matthew said 84 for a second, I was like, are we sure about this?
81. I think 84 was Cameron Brate on the teams he was with, Tampa Bay. Hawkinson, 87, you got that. For those of you playing at home, Brandon Jacobs, we would have accepted either 27 or 34. He wore both during his time with the Giants. And Trent Green, quarterback, Kansas City Chiefs, number 10, the number we were looking for. You did get one. You avoided the shutout, which is nice. Oh, and I have a note here that Brown with the Patriots wore 17 and with Pittsburgh wore 84. So you got all his numbers right. You just didn't get the one we were looking for. But you got one. Stay on the line. We'll see if it holds up, and we'll bring Micah onto the show. Micah, are you there?
Yeah, is that Matt Becker on the other side, or what's Matthew's last name?
We'll figure that out. Tell you guys offline, but I'm not 100% sure. Okay. But he feels like he knows you, so I don't know. You guys can, if you know each other, shoot each other a text. Micah, you ready to pick a category?
Yeah.
All right, the categories are NFL players with STEM degrees, NBA players with at least 450 career double-doubles, or NHL Hurricanes only.
I'll do the first NFL one.
Really? Micah?
Yeah.
What has gotten into you? You pick the Carolina Hurricanes every time.
Yeah, I gotta test myself, my knowledge in NFL, because I don't have any.
I respect that.
Is this because you know Matthew and you're taking it easy on him? You can be honest.
No, I mean I don't. I know you didn't tell me the last name, so I don't know.
Okay.
No.
Right.
That information is not disclosed to us.
I was going to advise Matthew to pick Hurricanes just to block you from Hurricanes because you've done so well there in the past. But I don't give advice that way. So anyway, we'll go with NFL players with STEM degrees. These are players with science, technology, engineering, or math college degrees. I'll give you the team and the player. Give me the jersey number as quickly as you can. 30 seconds on the clock. One pass if you need it. Any questions before we get started?
No.
All right. You need 2 for the win, and your time will start when you hear the horn. Justin Herbert, Los Angeles Chargers.
10.
Correct. Von Miller, Buffalo Bills.
59.
Incorrect. Dak Prescott, Dallas Cowboys.
4.
Correct. Ryan Tannehill, Tennessee Titans.
9.
Incorrect. Von Miller, Buffalo Bills.
58.
Incorrect. Ryan Tannehill, Tennessee Titans.
17.
Correct. John Urschel, Baltimore Ravens.
50.
Incorrect. Von Miller, Buffalo Bills.
97.
Incorrect. John Urschel, Baltimore Ravens.
80.
You got 3. That's a solid showing, Micah. That's good on you for branching out from the hockey category and still getting 3, more than half. Von Miller with the Bills wears 40. What a gross edge rusher number.
What?
And John Urschel, who legitimately is, it says he has a bachelor's, a master's, and a PhD in math. He wore number 64, offensive guard for the Ravens. But other than that, you got them all. So you got 3. That's plenty for the win. Congratulations. You're getting Monster Jam tickets.
Okay, thank you.
There you go. Stay on the line, and Graham will get the info he needs. For those of you wondering, I do have the degrees for the players in the science, technology, engineering, and math degrees category. Justin Herbert, although I'm not sure if he'll ever use it, he's getting paid quite handsomely to play football. Actually, all of these guys got paid quite handsomely to play football. Herbert is a biology major at Oregon. Von Miller, a poultry science major, Texas A&M. Dak Prescott at Mississippi State, educational psychology. Ryan Tannehill, also at Texas A&M, biology major. And John Urschel, as I mentioned, math. And I think he's teaching at like Harvard, if I'm being real. There's some really smart school that Urschel is now teaching at. But he did start a decent amount of games for the Ravens in the mid-20-teens. There you go. Those guys, they got it on and off the field of play. Smart guys. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. There are just 13 days until the Carolina Panthers open up training camp. 13 days, less than 2 weeks. Every show leading up to training camp, we've pledged to ask a question of the day about the Carolina Panthers. That question of the day is coming up next. Don't go anywhere.
Hey folks, Dennis Cox here from my friends over at Loan Pronto. Are you maxed out on credit cards? Maybe you really are struggling with that high interest debt. You can pay it all off in days with Loan Pronto's Rapid Equity Loan. Get cash out now without touching your low rate first mortgage. No appraisals, no BS, no waiting. One Loan Pronto client just got $300,000 approved in under 24 hours. They paid off debt, renovated their kitchen, and cut their monthly expenses by $1,800. That's a massive turnaround. Loan Pronto, instant approvals, low rates, no hard credit pull up front. Here's the thing. Your home equity is yours. Use it. Get cash to consolidate your debt down to one easy, low monthly payment. Call Loan Pronto now for a free instant appraisal for your home and see how much cash you can get today. Call now to start the conversation. 919-381-1760, loanpronto.com. 919-381-1760. Get debt relief now, loanpronto.com. Equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781 on approved credit, NMLSconsumeraccess.org.
Hey, it's Adam Gold, and I know the hurricane season came to an end. Another year with a loss to Florida in the Eastern Conference Finals, 2 of the last 3. But it's been a great year, and it's going to be a great summer with all that cap room the Hurricanes have. We got a lot of stuff to talk about, from free agency to trades to the draft. We'll have player interviews, special sit-down with Rod Brindamore that he doesn't even know about yet. He'll do it, don't worry. Just stay tuned to the Canes Corner podcast on YouTube. Search Canes Corner and wherever you get your podcast.
Westwood One Sports presents this special tennis update. Amanda Anisimova, born in New Jersey. She moved to Florida at a young age, was a junior champion, was a French Open semifinalist at age 17. But 2 years ago, Anisimova took a break from tennis, citing burnout and mental health concerns. Is she ever back? A semifinal upset of top seed Aryna Sabalenka, 6-4, 4-6, 6-4 on Saturday. Anisimova plays Iga Swiatek. She blew out Belinda Bencic, 6-2, 6-love. Taylor Fritz, meanwhile, is confident that tomorrow he can upset Carlos Alcaraz.
Yeah, I think grass is very much so an equalizer. I truly know the way that I played the first 2 sets today. There's not much any opponent on the other side can do.
Alcaraz, meanwhile, has won 19 Wimbledon matches in a row. Also tomorrow, Novak Djokovic's 52nd career Grand Slam semi plays Jannik Sinner. John Stashower, Westwood One Sports.
Saving for retirement was tough enough for us.
Yes, and navigating markets can be challenging at times.
I understand. That's why at Fisher Investments, we take a disciplined approach with your investments.
Tell us more about that.
We take an active approach to money management, positioning your portfolio for opportunities we see ahead.
So all your clients get the same portfolio?
No, we tailor your portfolio to your individual goals and needs.
What about communication? We don't like being left in the dark.
We check in regularly to keep you informed on the markets and your portfolio.
Which means you'll help us stay on track.
Yes, our goal is your comfortable retirement. And as a fiduciary, we always put your interests first, because we do better when you do better. At Fisher Investments, we're clearly different. Learn more at FisherInvestments.com.
Investing in securities involves the risk of loss.
The Offspring. Supercharged worldwide in 25. One unforgettable summer night. The Offspring. Live in Raleigh. With special guests Jimmy Eat World and Newfound Glory. Playing Coastal Credit Union Music Park Raleigh July 16th. Get tickets now at livenation.com. 3 great bands. One incredible show. Part of the Mattress Warehouse Concert Series.
They still got that one timeout left in their back pocket. Dalton taking a shot to the end zone. It is caught. Adam Thielen. Magnificent pass from Dalton.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. I'm going to keep reminding you because I want one of you to win your weight in meat, and I don't want anybody to say, I didn't know. Right now, you can text in BEEF, B-E-E-F, to 919-860-5326. That will put you into our pool of potential finalists. Every day, every weekday, at 4 o'clock, for the rest of this week and all of next week, 4 p.m., we will reach into that pool of people that have texted BEEF to 919-860-5326. Select one and call them. If they answer, they'll come on air, tell us how much they weigh, and that will make them a finalist to win their weight in meat. We'll have 10 finalists at the end of next week, and then on July 21st, that's a Monday, we will randomly select out of those 10 finalists one lucky winner, and they will win their weight in meat. So there's really just a 2-step process for you. We have a bunch of stuff we'll do behind the scenes, but the 2-step process for you is text in BEEF to 919-860-5326, and then have your phone on where you can hear it and you'll answer it at 4 o'clock every weekday. That's all you have to do, and you might win your weight in meat. All brought to you by the NC Beef Council. Beef, it's what's for dinner. Graham, if you won your weight in beef, what's the plan? With the grill and the smoking, how are we preparing it?
Definitely a grill.
Okay.
I want to cook all the sirloins in the world.
Okay. All right. No variety. You got the full weight in one cut.
I know, a T-bone in there too. So, I mean, mostly steak.
Okay.
That's what I'd be going with.
That's probably.
I'd be the hero of tailgates.
I'd say probably cost if I.
Or I know exactly what I'm bringing to the tailgate. I might not grill it, but medium rare. If you can just do it for me like that, then that's all.
You got this one for you, this one for me.
Yeah.
Medium.
Exactly.
Medium rare. All right, I like it. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. As promised, every day leading up to Carolina Panthers training camp. There are just 13 days, by the way. It is 2 weeks from yesterday. Training camp opens for the Panthers. Every day until then, every show, we are asking a question of the day about the Carolina Panthers season. And today, the question is simple. How much does Adam Thielen have left in the tank at his age? It's so hard to ask this question without being like hidden condescending. Oh, you look so great for your age, right? Such a backhand. Oh, he plays really well for his age. It's such a backhand compliment. But what else are you going to do? Okay, for his age, what does Adam Thielen have left in the tank? And I think I'm going to surprise some of you with my my answer here. But first, let's set the stage a bit. Adam Thielen is the oldest wide receiver in the NFL by a considerable margin. 2 years. He is the oldest wide receiver in the NFL, according to TeamRankings.com. And that's not, I mean, some guys that feel old are 2 years younger than him. Robert Woods, Tyler Lockett, Keenan Allen, who's still looking for somebody to take a shot on him as a free agent. DeAndre Hopkins. These guys are all 2 years younger than Adam Thielen. So there is reason to ask, is the cliff coming, right? Is it going to fall apart? Here's my take on it. Adam Thielen can still get open. Adam Thielen can still catch, right? Adam Thielen can still do a lot of the things that made him one of the biggest surprise star wide receivers in NFL history, right? Minnesota State Mankato works his way from a regional combine to multiple 1,000-yard seasons, Pro Bowls, huge money, right? Like there's still that player in there, and we saw it last year. I don't think at this point in time, he's going to crank out a bunch of, 80-yard touchdowns. But I don't think really at any point in his career he was racking up the 80-yard touchdowns, right? He's never really been that super dynamic guy. But he'll get you a 35-yard touchdown. I still think he has that ability. Here's the issue I have. And this is statistics. Guys get hurt more often when they're old, and it takes them longer to bounce back from injuries when they're old. And old is relative. He's sports old, right? I'm at that age, right? I'm 34 years old, where I'm sitting here talking about Adam Thielen. I think he's going to be 35 for next year. And I'm going like, that guy is the oldest player in the world. And then I'm like, wait a second.
Yeah, you're like, slow down real quick.
Hold on. And it is true. Like you're old as an athlete, and then you retire and you're young again. Right? You're the oldest guy in the world, then you retire at like 37, and you enter into the real world, and you're young again, and you're in your 30s, and you got a whole bunch of stuff to look ahead to. But there's no doubt that injuries hit different in your 30s. That I can speak on. Right? That I can speak on. But even if you look at, I pay a lot of attention to how long it takes guys to get back to full strength from injuries, because I am a fantasy football nerd and I want to know who I should start. And if someone's 3 weeks removed from a hamstring or 5 weeks removed from a hamstring tweak, it's a big difference. And if they're facing some kind of an injury, soft tissue or otherwise, at 24, you expect them to be back to 100% much earlier than if they face that exact same injury at 34. Again, that's not me stereotyping. That's stats talking, right? They don't get back to full effectiveness faster. So, Adam Thielen, if healthy, I think he's got a ton left in the tank. But that's such a huge if, right? We saw it last year. He missed a chunk of games right in the middle of the season.
After catching that touchdown pass that we just played coming into it from Sam Darnold.
Andy Dalton, but close.
Who did I say? Sam Darnold.
Sam Darnold. Yeah, it's just the Panthers have run through a lot of quarterbacks in the last half decade.
I could have said Matt Corral, and some Panthers fans would have been like, oh, okay, whatever.
It sounds good. And Baker Mayfield, whatever.
Yeah.
Teddy Bridgewater, we could keep going. When he's healthy, I think he's good. The issue is if you build too much of your offense around him, you open yourself up to the chance of halfway through the season, a quarter of the way into the season, whenever it is, maybe when things are going as good as they could go, Bryce is cruising, and then you lose that player, right? It's the risk that you just simply build into it. And I'll go back to Frank Reich. Okay, so we're going back however many seasons ago that was, 2.5 season and a half, 2.5 seasons, something like that, where Frank Reich had to call a timeout because Adam Thielen wasn't on the field. Adam Thielen was, 33-year-old, 33-year-old wide receiver. There's no reason that you should be that dependent upon that player. So, yeah, on third down, if Adam Thielen is out there and healthy, I'm telling Bryce Young, look for him, because he's tried and true. He's proven. If he gets open, get him the ball. He'll make the catch. He'll get the first, and you can keep the drive alive. But when you need to have a play made, I'm looking at Teteroa McMillan. Right? If you need a dynamic play, I'm probably looking towards even like a Xavier Legette first, because he has 4.3 140 time as recently as at the Combine 2 years ago. Adam Thielen at this point, and no player ever wants to hear it, part of his impact is going to be being the leader of a wide receiver room of guys who have all of the physical abilities that Adam Thielen used to have, that have all the durability of what Adam Thielen used to have. I like that Adam Thielen is on the team. Okay, I will not be excited if he has 1,000 yards receiving. Because if he has 1,000 yards receiving, I'm going to be concerned about Teteroa McMillan. Because I don't think this offense has, 4,800 yards passing in it. I don't think this is an offense that's going to have, 2 guys over 1,000, another one with 800, and a tight end with 800. Like, I don't think they have that volume. I don't think they want to have that volume. So if you're looking at last year, Adam Thielen had, and I can give you the full totals. He played in 10 games. He had 62 targets, 48 receptions, which is good for about 5 receptions a game. 4.8 if we're being exact. If he walks away with 3 or 4 catches a game, but they're well-placed, they're third down conversions, they're safety blanket type throws for Bryce Young, I think that's more than enough.
Like checkdowns and stuff.
And that, maybe checkdowns, but over the middle, right? They're the ones that you don't have to be the most dynamic. They're safe. It's no disrespect to a player to say at 35 years old we got to look out for.
We don't need Thielen going for another deep ball and pulling a hamstring in week 3 of the season off a deep pass from Bryce Young.
And maybe that's the best example of it, right? If you need the dynamic 30-yard game-winning touchdown, you got other guys to do it. If you need 3rd and 4, 4th and 4 on your own in your own side of the field, get your own 42 and you're going for it, I have no problem with Adam Thielen running a choice route across the middle where he has to make a decision on the fly and Bryce has to be on the same page because he has the longest relationship with him. They've been working together and Adam Thielen has proven to make those decisions correctly.
On the opponent's side of the field, that's a different story. That's where you're looking for a guy like T-Mac on 3rd and short.
There's a reason you drafted Teteroa McMillan 8th overall. And it's not to play second fiddle to Adam Thielen. It's not to play second fiddle to anybody. So it's very much a what does he have left in the tank? It's he has a lot left in the tank until he has nothing. And that's, by the way, that's a lot of times what does him in. When people talk about the cliff with injuries, it is very rarely like, oh, you went from being really good to really bad without anything changing. It's you get injured, you blow out something, you tweak something and you can't bounce back the same way and your back gets twisted up, whatever it is. Just that's usually how it happens. That's usually, and it's sad and it stinks and you wish it upon nobody and the end is always brutal, but it is what it is. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. What an uplifting note to the end of what I thought was a pretty uplifting show. Instead, let's end on a good note. I'm going to try to save you some money on your mortgage. Tim Donnelly here for Gordon Miller and Miller Lending. Gordon's been doing no closing cost loans since 1987. Miller Lending has been doing no closing cost loans since they came into the area decades ago, right? They're right here in Cary, locally owned. You call, you're going to talk to somebody in the triangle. What is a no closing cost loan? It's exactly that. Right? They're not. It's like the 4th of July. They didn't think and be real creative with the name because they want you to know what it is. No closing cost loan, no cost loan means no fees, no costs, no hidden surcharges, none of it at closing. Right? Obviously, you're going to have to put your down payment down. You're going to have to budget for your monthly payment, but you don't have all of the surprises that so often come with signing up for a mortgage, and that's nice. As somebody that, especially your first time buying a house, right? You're, whoa, where did this come from? There's none of that with Miller Lending. So give them a call. They'll lay it all out for you, how they do it, what they do it, and what you can expect in a no-cost loan from Miller Lending. The number to call is 919-447-3377. That's 919-447-3377, or visit them online at millerlending.com. Once again, that is millerlending.com. Miller Lending is an equal housing lender, and MLS number 250-2146. That's going to about do it for us here on The Drive with Tim Donnelly on 99.9 The Fan. Thank you to Graham for sitting in the last 2 days, producing the show, pushing the buttons that keep us on air. Tomorrow we'll have Max joining us, as the producer to end the week. So we'll see you at 3 o'clock tomorrow. Please subscribe to our YouTube, 99.9 The Fan. Like, comment, share, all that kind of stuff. as I said, we'll see you tomorrow. And until then, have a great night, everybody.